Icenet. Dynasties live here.
Played in the corner by Daniel. J.J. Daniel around, not out. Brunet's got it. Short-handed they come. Good move made by Guy Carbonneau, the captain of the Canadiens, to keep control of the puck. 30 seconds in the power play. With the time remaining on it, Islanders with the advantage. Canadiens change up in the penalty-killing unit. Dennis Vasky sends it in. Remember, for this Islander team, they played on Friday into overtime, game 7, and did not get here until 3 o'clock yesterday morning. And talking with David Bollock this morning, he said, I don't think any of us got to sleep before 5 because the juices just would not stop flowing after that 7-game win. So they've not had a lot of rest.
So they're learning that sleep is, in fact, at this time of year, very overrated.
Overrated, that's right. Benoit Hogue, save made by Patrick Roy, and that will take care of the power play. 0 for 1 on the power play. Here's the penalties over. Canadiens take care of that one. No score. 15-20 to go here in the first period. Both teams making line changes. Here's we're back to even strength. At center, Holler's got it. Kevin Holler brings it in. Danfus cutting to the net. Holler dropped it for him. Danfus swings it behind. Then cut Muller in front. Muller couldn't get it as it went off the back of the net. Pilon takes him down. Kurt Muller, who's been banged up here, lots of bruises on the face as a result of playoff action against Buffalo and Quebec. They needed the week's rest to overcome that, especially guys like Muller who got a lot of ice time. Brian Bellows out in front, lost it. Down the middle, shot, save made, Glenn Healy, penalty coming up. Covered up as Bellows gets into it in front with Vasky. Power play for the Canadiens. No score from Montreal.
Here, Brian Bellows taken down by Dennis Vasky, number 37 of the Islanders, and the play wasn't whistled down until Healy had to make a great save on Stéphane Lebeau. For Montreal in the playoffs, 10 power play goals in 10 games. That's a
cut to the point. Desjardins, Matthew Schneider near side. Schneider, Bellows. Desjardins again, a little room. Ferraro moved out on him. Schneider shot wide. He tried to get that to Muller for the tip. Did not get in on net, and a penalty coming up. A tripping call on Kurt Muller. And the Canadiens are going to lose a minute 2 on this power play. Muller trying to set up in front. Got the stick underneath the New York Islander and took him down, and Muller is going to go.
I think Kurt Muller was looking for anybody because Darius Kasparaitis, how many times we mentioned Kasparaitis as being on top of other people. Kasparaitis leveled Muller, and then when Muller got up, he just pulled Glenn Healy's leg out from under him. But before that, it was Kasparaitis right in front of Terry Grayson, the referee, who punched Muller.
Shot, Healy the save from Daniel at the point. Pilon trying to clear. Mike Keane almost blocked that one. Played by Fitzgerald. He dumps it into the corner. Waugh goes back to get it. And a man moving in on him, but a delayed call on an off-suck. Their leading playoff scorer. The veteran had a great year for them. Brought up. Danfus holds it in. 3-on-2. Danfus drops it off in the middle. Overline can't get it. Danfus backhander saved by Healy. And he's got the glove on it. And Uwe Krupp clearing out in front on Paul DiPietro.
Well, the Montreal Canadiens this year made an effort to beef up their offense. Number 25, Vincent Damphousse, was acquired last summer from the Edmonton Oilers. What did he do? He just led their team in scoring this year. Time he got the stick on Paul DiPietro, and it wasn't an accident. He is loose, he is happy, and he's a guy that yucks it up most of the time, but he's going to protect his crease. And he will have to contend with a very quick but small group of Montreal forwards. Also, the Montreal defense will get up in the play. They are undersized, but what they give away in size, they make up with quickness.
Montreal as a team finished 6th overall in the National Hockey League's regular season, and right now among the Final 4, they the highest-ranked team. Power play underway here as the Canadiens get at the ball, poked away from him. On the line, looking to clear to Carbonneau. Guy Carbonneau wants to bang it out of the zone and dives. Brunet knocks it down at the red line. Taken away by Malakoff. Re-intercepted, brought in, and dumped Carbonneau, and another penalty coming up. So we're getting penalties called early on in this game. Guy Carbonneau coming over the line, got tripped. Puts it off. They'll work with Bellows in front of the net. 4-on-4. And right now a power play for the Canadiens. And a long one, 1:38 on the Islander penalty, but they controlled, and Loiselle was able to get it out of the zone. Montreal will be working in the slot area. Nice play by Brian Mullen, who stole it and clears it out. Schneider chasing it down. Matthew Schneider has worn 8 in his career. He's now wearing 27 because he got a separated shoulder, missed some of the playoffs, said, I got to change my luck. So he changed his uniform. Brian Mullen clears it out. Foes Healy off the end of the glove and around the boards. Brisebois holds it in. Intended for Bellows. Damphousse and Muller behind the net. Muller pinned up by Pilon. Has the puck. 37 left on the power play. Back to Brisebois. Patrice Brisebois working a point. Bellows let it go. Pilon is there. Clears it. Yes. Got by Schneider. They got a turnaround shot. That's deflected out deep. Blocked by Krug on Kevin Howland. Played again to Savard. Savard looking. Savard wanting to set it up from behind the net. Did shot. Score!
Well, he may be 32 years of age, and he may only weigh 175 pounds, but Denis Savard can still weave his magic when he ends up with a lot of time in behind a net.
Bank it out in front, got tied up by Tommy Curvers. Back for Leclerc, deflected, shot saved by Healy. And the rebound to the point, Schneider, the shot deflects to the corner. John Leclerc working hard behind the net with Nick Carbonneau right there. Carbonneau, Ronan, and Leclerc on this line. Curvers out to the middle. Nick Lakota's got it. Lakota, Ferraro, and King. The line for the New York Islanders. Ferraro dumped behind the play by Patrick Law. They look at each other. Leclerc shot partially blocked. Healy had to make the save on it. Derek King picks it up on the far side. So Ferraro and Waugh have already met away from the play. There's Ferraro back for King. King pinned up from behind by Schneider. Tried to dump it out in front. Matthew Schneider just took it away. Gave Carbonneau through center. Couldn't connect with Leclerc. Rolls in on Glenn Healy. 8:30 left here in the first period. They change it up with the fly. Rich Pilon for the Islanders. Montreal Canadiens for the 60th time in a semi-final game of the National Hockey League playoffs. Damphousse at center. Vincent Damphousse waiting for help. Daniel's there. J.J. Daniel avoiding the check. What a move on Kasparaitis. And dropped it into the middle. That was nifty. Mike Keane in the corner. Keane. Stephane Lebeau comes over to help out. Cleared behind the net again. They're working from behind the net on Healy. The shot. Healy had to make a save. Leclerc coming out from behind the net as they are definitely doing this to bother Healy. And jamming the crease. Lebeau's almost in with the goaltender. Lebeau couldn't get it. Daniel's shot deflected into the corner. The strategy showing up mighty early in this one. Here comes David Bollock. Bollock moving in. Brisebois had him. Bollock centered. Waugh knocked it away.
The man-to-man coverage is so slow in shaping up for the Islanders that the Montreal Canadiens almost look like they're on a power play. The Islanders had to
Muller all over him, centering for Delgado. Couldn't get it there. Then Brunet works it out. Brunet brings it in, leaves it at the point. Bellows deflected. Baskey got a stick on that as he blocked it coming through. Delgado leaves it off for Junker. There's the rookie. Junker clears it in. Got called up with all the injuries in the playoffs against Pittsburgh. Lo and behold, an opportunity to play his first National Hockey League game in the playoffs against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Matthew Schneider backs it up. Islanders trying to pick up the forecheck here and hold him in. Brunet's got it. Should have kept him to Montreal.
There's no question the Islanders in both ends are a step behind.
Dion still holding. Dumps it in the corner. Savard. Canadiens right now are really flying. Kasparaitis behind the net. He got bothered by Gilbert Dion. Got it out the center to King. King. Damphousse turned around. Nobody was there to help out, so rag it back. Sent in by Savard. Malakoff. Malakoff with a big, powerful point shot. Used against Pittsburgh in that series. King into Bollock. King shot, save, Waugh. Rebound kicked back to King, but he didn't see it. Ray Ferraro. They had an uneven break coming right there, and I'm not sure realized it. Daniel moving, short-handed. J.J. Daniel trying to get it to Damphousse, squeezed up by Malakoff and Curvers. Far side play by King. Carbonneau behind him, reaching in. Ray Ferraro's got it. Goes by Mike Keane. Has Bollock in the middle with him. King joins the play. Ferraro fakes. Waits. Malakoff lost it. Trying to wind up for it. He had Keane down to the ice, and he brought it outside the zone. One too many dangles on Schneider on the far side. They want to get him back after that injury in game one against Quebec in the playoffs. He is one of the quarterbacks in the power play in the first unit out there. Damphousse holds it in. Damphousse drops it. Bellows gets it. Ryan Bellows, he'll take it. Save Healy with a man cutting right through the middle on him. Loisel tries to clear. Can't. Brisebois holding it in. His shot deflected, and that ends up way. Can't get it in the empty net. Damphousse had it blocked in front by Healy. Vincent Damphousse, as he wound up, Healy dove back towards the net after after being caught out of it. Kurt Muller had the puck in his skates with no one in the net. Desjardins circling at center.
To a hockey team, without question, Montreal Canadiens MVP. Look at Glenn Healy. He had to save himself on that one. And then finally, talk about role reversal. 2 defensemen getting into the crease to stop it for him. But Healy was an aggressive goalie, just like we saw there when he was young, just about all the time. But it used to cost him so often that maturity has finally taught him to pick his spots. And he picks them right most of the time, like that.
Boy, 13-5 the shots here. Canadiens are really dominating territorially in offensive chances. Patrick Roy watched most of this one. Glenn Healy has been bombarded. Mullen trying to clear it out, didn't get it by. Haller able to hold it in. That's a big hold in here in the power play with 20 seconds left on it. Kevin Haller, Desjardins, one-timer! Off the blocker of Healy. Brian Mullen chasing, and he clears the zone. 14 seconds left on the Canadiens. Desjardins knocked away by Hogue. Great scoring chance right there. Haller able to clear it out of the zone. 3-on-2 break for the Canadiens. Muller leads it by Brunet. Back for Bellows. Bellows shot, save, and no rebound. Healy hangs on. How about these 2 guys in net?
Well, we've got 2 different stories, don't we? Not only in the first period, but in achievement. Patrick Roy has all kinds of major trophies in his past, and Glenn Healy has just been a busy guy lately. No major awards. I think he thought he had it squeezed off, Gary, but it was over his head. It came very close to squeezing in the short side. At first, I thought he was trying to squeeze it off, and then I thought he was shaken up, and I think the latter is more accurate. I think he's shaken up. He took it on the short side high, right off his right shoulder.
He just stood there and didn't move while the puck went up in the air.
No, Brian Mullen launched a rocket. I mean, it was a flipper, but he caught it all. Now, right there, either Patrick Roy is hurt or he thinks he has got it. Even if he is hurt, though, you'd think if he could...
Big lead Benson has already, and Jim Cooper, it looked like, got tapped from behind in car number 95. At least that's what it looked like. There you can see the 2 cars that remain tied together, the 78 of Steve Holtzhausen, car number 90 of Kent Stauffer, and now everybody going everywhere. Rick Beebe, that's the red car that gets airborne.
Jumping
the Caroline
up in the air,
Motorsports Chevrolet, after being hit from behind, it looked like, by Pat Bordeaux.
What a tough break for Jay Sommers in that white number 70. We'll talk about that in a second. There is... Well, it's hard to say. It did not look like
no,
that
Cooper
got touched. No?
I don't think so. It looked like he simply got a bit up out of the racing groove. It did not look like there was any contact between the 2 of them.
It was also hard to ascertain whether or not the Cooper incident had anything to do with Seneca, because the Seneca train wrecking, if you will, was being done down on the bottom of the racetrack, and Jim was in the high groove. Well, a very surprising lap number 1 here at Nashville, and frankly speaking, it kind of took us all...
Lead by John LeClair.
Well, terrific work by John LeClair, and a great heads-up play by Eric Desjardins. He takes a peek, and this is not a shot that was intended to get into the net. It just wanted to get it to John LeClair's stick. A lot of defensemen would just bury their heads. Look at Desjardins, head up, head up. I don't even know if he ever looked down at the puck, but you can see that that shot was going wide. He didn't care. He was aiming for LeClair's stick. And LeClair 1 step ahead of the coverage as usual, and that has been the problem for the Islanders. The Canadiens have been a step ahead of them on the coverage. The Islanders have been a step behind in every zone. 2-zip Montreal.
LeClair has played in all 11 playoff games. That's his first goal of this year's playoffs, second in his career, and 3 points in the playoffs this season. And the Canadiens have taken a 2-0 lead. Beautiful setup at the side of the net.
And LeClair had said coming into today's game that everything was going nicely for him, except the puck felt like a hand grenade on his stick, and it's like the hot potato syndrome. You end up with the puck on your stick like a hand grenade. You don't want to handle it too long. You pass too quickly. You don't stick handle well. John LeClair's confidence will probably come flooding back now.
Fitzgerald on the touch-up in the zone for the offside call. Our Budweiser Stanley Cup summary.
In a groove. He is picked right up where he left off in overtime on Friday night in Pittsburgh. Guy Carbonneau looked off Benoit Brunet. He had an option to pass, but it was a really good choice to shoot. Glenn Healy is even making the real tough saves look easy.
Canadiens for the Islanders. They had a brief 2-man advantage. They still have a minute 40 on the power play.
That is the second shot that has hit Patrick Roy up high, and it came out of a cannon. The top shooter, even though he wasn't clocked during the All-Star break as the top shooter, Uwe Krupp was, but Vladimir Malakoff Players around the league will tell you that they're more afraid of his shot than they are Uwe Krupp.
Getting the cobwebs out after he took that shot and readjusting the helmet. A shake of the head. There's Malakoff, who had that big blast. 3 goals, 5 assists thus far in the playoffs. Power play still underway. Great chance for the Islanders here. 5-on-4 power play advantage. Kerber's shot blocked out deep. Maybe, but it's 3-0 Canadiens.
And with that quick puck movement we talked about, the Islanders just couldn't get set. Never got into their penalty killing formation, and there was a crowd in front of Glenn Healy, but Brian Bellows really pulled the trigger quickly, standing at the top of the circle out to Glenn Healy's right. And he can let her rip on his off wing from that faceoff dot with the best of them. I don't even know if Glenn Healy saw that one, Gary, before it was behind him.
There are a lot of people in the crease with him, and he may not have. And the Canadiens have taken a 3-0 lead at 14:45. We'll credit Bellows with a goal for the moment. See whether or not anybody else may have touched that in front. Malakoff takes it in behind the net, so the Canadiens, 7 days rest has not hurt this team. Right back, Malakoff. Islanders have got to find a way now to get it by first the defense and then by Waugh. Glenn Healy way out. Ronan blocked it. Empty net, and Ronan can't get it there. Baskey blocked the pass. Healy gets back in the net. Healy got caught all the way over on the boards that time in a race for the puck. Malakoff dropping it. Leclaire intercepts. Leclaire and Ronan can't get it on the touch. Brunet is credited with that goal. Benoit Brunet, they say, tipped it in at 14:45. Bellows and Haller get the assists on it. Goal number 3 for Montreal. Brisebois back to get it. Up the boards, we're even strength now, as that was a power play goal for the Canadiens. J.J. Daniel brings it in, takes the shot. Off a Canadien, deflected side of the net by Healy as Guy Carbonneau found the rebound. Uwe Krupp starts it up ice, King with him. Krupp sends it in wide, Patrick Waugh back to get it. Borderline will turn in the corner. 4:04 to go here in the second period. Right now, it's a Canadiens game. Shots are 20-11 in favor of Montreal. Thomas some room. Thomas with Hope cutting. Had it blocked as he took the shot. Daniel got a piece of it. Far side chase down. Daniel over. Hope was there with him. Held in by the Islanders. Steve Thomas. Thomas's shot wide. Just didn't get that one on net. Gilbert Dion on the far side. One of the goal scorers this afternoon for Montreal. Tommy Kerbers. Back with it. Borderline. This is a very tough team to try and come from behind on the Canadiens. They don't make a lot of defensive mistakes ever, but especially when they've got a lead. Borderline has it back for Savard. Savard coming 3-on-2. Savard with DiPietro. Savard. DiPietro. Tip save by Healy. DiPietro got to
Stay in front of it.
Patrick Waugh now. A question here with 11 minutes to go. Can he pick up a shutout? He has 20 regular season game shutouts and 5 playoff shutouts. Bounced off the back of Muller's skates. Kurt Muller nailed by Pilon. Puck still loose behind the net. Reaching for it. One of the linesmen was hanging on to Dion when Pilon wound up and hit him.
That's where you got to be real sure you got them both tied up. And Randy Mitten, one of the linesmen, did a great job of getting in there to Pilon to stop him before he could cold cock Gilbert Dion. That's Kasparaitis and Paul DiPietro. There's Loisel. He's paired up with Matt Schneider, number 27. And we have not seen a lot of this, have we? And you know what? One of the only times, or the few times that it happens, you can usually bet that the game has slipped away from one of the teams and that the frustration of not being able to get anything going gets the better of them. And very often this is the situation that results. You'll never see this in a real tightly contested match, but this one's just about over. Times for the respective teams. But it spread after that. Lakota calmed down, so did Odeline. But Rich Pilon didn't. And neither did Gilbert Dion. Here's Pilon coming in at Dion. Now watch Pilon. He'll get a penalty if he fights with that visor on. So when Pilon decides to go, he says, all right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to stand back. Here I go. I'm going to take my visor off. And Dion says, okay, I'm ready. Dion was the aggressor going to Pilon, but as soon as he was grabbed by Wayne Bonney, the linesman, Pilon came with a big roundhouse. He didn't land on anything. And for once, the catalyst was not Darius Kasparaitis.
Sure, he's unhappy about the fact he was away from the play and not able to join in on that. Then again, maybe the Pacers had enough for one game here.
In Darius Kasparaitis' defense, he just doesn't go out there looking to fight. He gets emotionally worked up. He is that kind of player. Anybody that would punch his own goalie in the head after a loss, which he did playing for the unified team, and bust his stick.
They break the ice with Ray Ferraro's goal.
First time the Canadiens have collapsed in front of Patrick Roy. Darius Kasparaitis must have sore arms from shooting. He had two terrific chances to score the goal himself. Finally, with Patrick Roy flat on his side, Ray Ferraro was able to do it. Pollock just laid it out there for Kasparaitis, who doesn't have a good shot. He doesn't control it that well. That shouldn't have gotten up over the net. Then Kasparaitis with his own rebound that put Patrick Roy down. But look, not much coverage by the Canadiens. People falling all over the place, and Ferraro able to score. You saw Gregson, the referee in the bottom left, throw his arm up. He was going to call a penalty against Montreal, and that gets waived on the play because the Islanders scored just when he was going to call the penalty.
So Ray Ferraro has the goal-scoring lead in the playoffs to himself once again, as that is his 13th this season, his 20th of his career, and puts New York on the board. 1 minute left to go in the third period. Claude Loisel. Patrick Roy knocks it away. Cleared up the boards. Kasparaitis trying to hold it in, cannot. But the Canadiens still have the 4-1 lead. Offside delayed call here. Brisebois drops it back for Matthew Snyder. Patrick Roy coming into this. Leclerc for the hat trick. Tied up Fitzpatrick and Malakoff. Penalty coming up. There's the whistle. And it'll be a power play for the Canadiens to finish this game with 32.9 remaining. Back, Leclerc, not quite tied up by Baskey from behind on the play. Bill McCreary is our referee tonight. Out of Ontario, has been in the league since '82. Wayne Bonney and Randyman will be working with him, the officials, for Game 2 of the semifinal game. Haller sends it into the zone. Malakoff knocks it down. We're just underway here in the first period. Patrick Flatley sends it up ice. Not quite. Bollock is breaking. Kurt Muller starts the other way. They're in the middle of a line change. Benoit Brunet is out on this line now, along with Bellows and Muller. Rolls all the way around, no icing. It'll be chased to the far end, Desjardins.
We'll see how much jump.
There's Turgeon back on the ice and takes a pretty good hit from Mike Keane. From the point, Tommy Carver saved by Watt. Turgeon in front, taken off the play. So Turgeon gets bumped against the boards and bumped in front of the net. But he's come back out on this line now with Bollock and Del Darno. Pierre Turgeon's second time out. Mike Keane just took a rap on the far side, ran into his own teammate, Stephane Lebeau, and knocked his helmet off. Tommy Kerber's going in behind by Healy. And a penalty coming up. It'll be a power play for the Montreal Canadiens.
Well, the Islanders definitely have more jump than they had in Game 1, but too much jump at the blue line. Darius Kasparaitis pinched in, and all of a sudden the Canadiens, with their skating ability, made it a 3-on-2 situation, and only a terrific left toe save right there by Glenn Healy has kept this game scoreless. See where Healy is, just outside of his crease, pretty aggressive, but he said the Montreal Canadiens are a lot like the Washington Capitals. They
by Healy. Two very quick saves already in this game by Glenn Healy.
You have to be ready for shots from everywhere against Montreal. They, while they don't have really a star-studded power play, have as good a puck movement and puck rotation as there is in the league. So Healy knows to be ready from any angle. And Darius, well, Darius looks like he's wound up. He pinched up in the offensive zone that gave the Canadiens a chance earlier, but this was a perfect time to move up. And look at Haller, just left the puck. I mean, if that had happened in front of the Montreal bench, people would have been yelling at Haller to keep his head up, and nobody was helping Kevin Haller on that play. And here's Healy's save off of Eric Desjardins, the last shot.
And you saw Kasparaitis helping out in front. Healy 6th in the playoffs with a 3-4-0 goals against him, and his shot was wide as it was deflected off the stick and rolls all the way back to the blue line. King with Turgeon and Thomas. King spinning, knocked down again. Taken out of the play for the second time, again by Matthew Schneider. Far side for Guy Carbonneau. Kerbers was there to center. Thomas tipped it away. Schneider couldn't get it. Thomas has it. Lost it to Leclerc. Nice move by Leclerc. Leclerc left it in the middle. Savard shot was too high. Rebound to David Bollock. Bollock had Savard coming, so he put it over to Uwe Krupp. Shots early on, not many. Right now, 2-1 in favor of the Canadiens. Ferraro had it blocked to the corner by J.J. Daigneault, and Waugh hangs on. 13:39 to go in the first. Drops it to him. Dion. No one to get it to in front. Skating through. DiPietro poked away Kasparaitis. Near side to Rich Pilon. DiPietro took it away and drops it back in his own end. Only 3 shots thus far through the first 7 minutes of this first period. 2 of them picked up by the Canadiens. 2-on-1. Keane in the middle. Shot. Save. Healy. It's loose behind him. And he covers up. It ended up in a 2-on-1 break. LeBeau taking the shot. Had a man with him. And Healy big time saves early. Krupp looking in front. Shot deflected by King wide. Krupp trying to hold it in. Does. Carmona was after it. Ray Ferraro helping. Odeline poked it away, but Dennis Vasky stepped up. Held in by Thomas. Down to 18 on the power play. Thomas back to Krupp. Krupp shot deflected. Saved by Waugh. Ray Ferraro deflected that for the 5-hole. Patrick Waugh, good positioning and squeezed them shut.
Boy, that was a terrific save by Waugh because it was a perfect deflection by Ferraro. You know, I talked to Patrick Waugh this morning about what he wants to have happen in front of him on the kill. And just like every other goalie, he wants his defenseman to leave the guy alone when he's right in front and to take him on the shot, just the way Odeline did on that play. So let him stand there until the shot comes. The rationale being one set of legs is easier to look through than 2. Patrick doesn't really get down that low. He said one jersey is easier.
Knocked away by Healy, never saw it. He had no idea where the puck was, but he put the stick up. Looked like it caught his arm. Ray Ferraro, no shot on this one. Waugh. Can you believe he just did? He played that off the boards into his glove.
Made it look real easy and cool too, didn't he?
Like he practiced that again by Waugh. And there's Loisel. Just getting in as close as he can. Remind the Canadiens the Islanders are going to be buzzing. Patrick Waugh. 8:58 to go. First period of the Forum. Healy just off the end of the skate. Great setup as the Canadiens rush it. And a crisscross European-style play. Mullen again right on. Patrick Waugh. And he's not giving up rebounds here. The Islanders are there if there are any, but there aren't.
Sooner or later, though, I don't care how good you are. Patrick Waugh is one of the best, but the Islanders have the right idea. Keep driving and keep the shots low. The ones along the ice are the ones that are uncontrollable, really. Glenn Healy with this shot from Mike Keane might have been tipped by Darius Kasparaitis and just wide of Glenn Healy. Canadiens have been able to target those shots from 10-15 feet inside the blue line.
Again blocked in front. Volek shot deflected wide. Turgeon skating in front on the first chance there was looking for a tip. He gets pinned up by Brisebois. Brunet's over there. Brunet putting the heat on from behind. Islanders trying to hold it in the zone. Delgarno did. Volek's got it. Volek, Turgeon taken down. Penalty coming up with the Canadiens. Muller's got it, and there's the whistle. And Turgeon gained. Pierre Turgeon was all alone.
And Gary, we talk about chemistry a lot. Sometimes it's overused, but when you're talking Derek King, Steve Thomas, and Pierre Turgeon, you're talking real chemistry. This line combined for 133 goals this season. You don't think they know where they are on the power play? Finally back together. Not a Montreal Canadian near Pierre Turgeon, but Patrick Waugh. He sniffed that one, didn't he? He smelled it all away and was in perfect position. Turgeon just about caught him on the bank shot coming back out, but good reaction by Patrick.
Turned around and found the puck. Turgeon led this team power play goals with 24 during the regular season. Derek King had 21, so they have missed him on the power play. Minute 33 left on the Islanders' advantage. Malakoff's got it. No score with 6:50 left here in the first period. Off the board. Snyder can't get it up. Turgeon held it in. King, Thomas, and Turgeon stay out. In the corner, King back to the point. Tommy Kerbers back for King. Knocks it down, went behind him. Kerbers goes down deep to get it. Thomas shot, save, rebound. Turgeon, save by Waugh. Malakoff holds it in. His shot deflected, score! Pierre Turgeon on the power play, and the Islanders lead 1-0.
What a difference in this hockey team, Gary. Terrific play by Turgeon, and Patrick Waugh made 3 outstanding saves, but when Malakoff finally got it, boy, was Turgeon signaling for it. He had his stick up in the air. Smart point men on the power play. Watch him here. Smart point men on the power play will always take at least one peek. And watch Turgeon. It'll go back to the point. Now watch him signal for it. Here I am. And baby, did he get it right on the tape. Perfect deflection to the side of Patrick Roy. Pierre Turgeon has been huge. Just a little bigger than Patrick Roy. Roy has made a half dozen outstanding saves.
His 17th career playoff goal. More importantly, in the 8 games he has played this season in the playoffs, he has picked up 5 goals for the Islanders. And that one's on the power play at 13-41. They're first in this series. They are now 1 for 7 against the Canadiens as they came across the blue line. Back to the point. J.J. Daniel open the shot. Healy makes the save. No trouble with that one. Benoit Hogue to Ray Ferraro. Ferraro coming with Flatley 2-on-2. Patrick Flatley's shot that deflects into the corner. Centered all the way through. Ray Ferraro trying to get it back to Hogue, who is cutting. Kasparaitis chases down. He and Rich Pilon, the defensive pairing for the Islanders. 5:44 to go. The Everson blocked by Dennis Baskey, and now Healy knocked down. Brisebois got driven into him. Healy lost his helmet as he went down on the ice, hitting his head against the net.
That's easy because Glenn Healy doesn't have a chin strap. Well, if you want to press the record button on your VCR, you can start your clinic on deflections. Watch Pierre Turgeon. You see how he protected the blade of his stick with his skate? He knew he had so much time, he just didn't want the stick to give way. Watch it from our super slow-mo camera, how he puts his skate just about behind the blade of his stick to back it up in case there was too much flexibility in the blade or in case the blade broke.
Missed on the short side. Tom Fitzgerald the opportunity. Boy, they are getting it done down low. Delgarno held it in. Tipped away by Haller. Lost to Delgarno. Delgarno being held onto. And it's the Islanders who right now have the territorial play going for them. Rushing right side. Brunet with Malakoff. Malakoff makes him go to the corner. No dice on that one. Islanders, they are trying to rush the way the Canadiens did against them in Game 1. Delgarno sends it in. Wow, we'll just let it be there for Odeline. Wow, Odeline, Delgarno all over him. Comes off to the near side, foot off on it. Tried to put it in front, was in on Healy. Snyder sends it right back in, knocked down by Uwe Krupp. Krupp coming with Benoit Hogue, Mullen, and Thomas. They've got a 4-on-3. Benning drops it for the shot. Daniel deflected DiPietro. Dion moving in, but Ferraro took it away. Canadiens changing up behind the play. Ray Ferraro. Ferraro off. Ball is just on the ice. Flatley coming to the middle. Tried to get it to him. Deflects right into the glove. Patrick Roy, and Ferraro gets the bump from Dion out of the way. John had it and lost it to Keane. Damphus rolls free to the blue line. Baskey's got it. Baskey and Malakoff. Delgarno out with Pollock and Turgeon. Delgarno. And Delgarno dumps it into the zone. Turgeon back to get it. Turgeon beat Haller. Tried to center. Hit the side of the net. Turgeon is everywhere. Dug it out. Turgeon centered. Falling. But it went off a stick. Malakoff holds it in. Centering past Turgeon again for Thomas. Turgeon again. Pierre Turgeon. Shot saved by Waugh. Malakoff on the far side. Shot deflected wide as Pollock was standing in front. 3-on-2 the other way. Damphus up. Damphus drops. LeBeau saved by Healy. And they are flying.
Boy, what play by Healy, and what offensive power for Pierre Turgeon by himself. It's no accident that this guy got 132 points during the regular season. And Al Arbour is double shifting him already. He has played with King and Thomas. On this shift, he is out there with Delgarno and Pollock. Glenn Healy saved the day. The one thing about the Islanders, when you press at one end. You got to be careful. Okay, now I'll leave you alone. And then that takedown. So that was on Benoit Hogue, but Steve Thomas came down and was guilty of a cross-check after the Islanders really had put out the fire at their own end. So with half dozen seconds to go, the Islanders will start the second period, most likely shorthanded.
Al Arbour, you can tell, is not happy with Thomas having taken that one. LeBeau in the face-off, shot by Damphus, blocked by Hogue. Damphus deflected wide by Keane. And that will do it in the first period. Kasparaitis, Desjardins moved in. LeBeau got the pass to Damphus, 2-on-1. They come to the middle. 2-on-1 break. Uwe Krupp in the middle. Damphus, he couldn't get the pass back from Matthew Schneider. Blocked in the zone by Keane, hit by Kasparaitis. Krupp around the boards. Schneider will play it back at the red line. whistles it in. Healy knocks it down. Shots are 17-14 now in favor of the Canadiens. King's got it. King turned by Matthew Schneider. Wraps it around near side. Savard tried to get it out. Couldn't. Ferraro moving. Ferraro stood up by Matthew Schneider. Good play by Schneider. Would have been a 2-on-1. 3-on-2 the other way. Back. Savard shot blocked. Over the glass and into the seats.
Man, what a collision in front between Glenn Healy and one of the Canadiens. Everybody's down. Glenn Healy in the play. Look, he's looking right at him and runs right over him. No wonder Healy went to Bill McCreary asking for a penalty. Obviously, McCreary didn't see it because DiPietro went for him. Runs in the family. DiPietro had a cousin that played for 15 years.
Leclerc and a save by Healy. Leclerc, Canadiens putting the heat on now. J.J. Daniel will dump it deep. Leclerc lets it go. Penalty coming up. It'll be in the Islanders. Ronan takes the big hit. Delayed whistle here. There it is. And the Canadiens, who picked the pace up here in the second period, are going to go back. It is not an easy game. Randy Minton got dumped. He is all right.
A lot of the officials have gone to the helmet. Randy Minton, I guess, hasn't been dinged in the head bad enough yet to warrant putting one on, because usually that's what happens. A lot of referees put them on just to be smart, but very often it takes a good crack in the noggin to get a referee to put a helmet on you. Well, I'll tell you what, that's as close as you can come to cracking your head on the ice. And there is not a more dangerous thing out on the ice surface. I don't care about pucks or sticks or anything. You fall backwards and whiplash the back of your head into the ice. That's the most dangerous by a mile to your head.
That was mighty close to being that. He landed, as you saw, right on the top of the shoulders. You see what Montreal's done here in this period. All of it. They've come back to time. Healy as he tried to sweep it in, and Hogue clears the length. 26 seconds on the advantage. 1-1 game here, and he just lost that. Pilon clears it. He dangled it out in front of him and couldn't draw it back in. 4 seconds left on it. Canadiens trying to get one. They may. LeBeau scores!
What a beautiful pass, but Al Arbour knows his defenseman allowed LeBeau to get in between them and behind them. And Glenn Healy was angry after this goal because I don't know if Uwe Krupp deflected the shot or helped it. Let's just watch it. I think Healy thought he was going to get this one. Well, that's why he was angry. He did make good contact with his stick on that shot. But the momentum from LeBeau's shot actually found its way between Glenn Healy's legs. I think LeBeau was trying to get it off the ice, maybe up over the stick. But the momentum of the shot carried it in.
Just missed. He went for the wide side shoulder. And a whistle here as Bill McCreary making the call. Rabideau was there to help. Pilon's going to play it back at center. 9 minutes to go, second period, and a period that has belonged to the Montreal Canadiens. They have their 2 goals here in this period after the power play goal was scored by Turgeon of the Islanders in the first. They have answered it here with Bellows and Leclerc on even strength goals. And this is an outstanding even strength Delgarno. Kasparaitis shorthanded come the Islanders. A minute 20 on the power play for Montreal. Kasparaitis hauler, oh my gosh. Well, that's about as obvious as you can get.
I would say.
All you needed was the rope put around his feet and hands. And
somebody clocking the official time.
Shot deflected Damphousse. Damphousse in the corner for it. 4-on-4 here. Matthew Schneider's shot saved by Healy. Krupp trying to get it out. Damphousse blocks it. Healy gloves it and will hang on. Skating 4-on-4 with 3:49 to go in the second, and the Canadiens up 2-1.
Or Glenn Healy, I don't think can afford to put the puck back in.
Rebound, Brunet right through the crease. Turgeon on the far side. Islanders need the puck now. They've got a power play coming right now for 46 seconds. Rabideau takes it away from King and clears the zone. A bullet dodged right there. Healy plays it off the boards for King. Power play is over. The short power play for the New York Islanders. And teams are back 5-on-5. Thomas into the zone. Back to get it. Nobody. Ferraro and Schneider. Schneider around the boards. Near side Thomas. Centered again, Kruk. Defenseman joins the play. Uwe Kruk, King in front. Everybody cutting down low. That could create a 2-on-1. Back the other way, Guy Carbonneau. Carbonneau coming. Carbonneau looking. Islanders back. His centering pass is blocked by Dennis Vaske. Thomas back up ice, has Ferraro with him, but the Canadiens are back 3 deep. Ferraro back checking Leclerc, and a good job of it. Leclerc created that turnover. Bellows back to him. Leclerc, Muller and Autoline. Autoline shooting side, takes it over the head of Glenn Healy. Ryan Bellows along the boards, hit by Ray Ferraro. They do battle as the puck is pushed out of the zone by Brian Mullen. Mullen back to get it. Muller took it away. Avoids Ray Ferraro, but couldn't quite get the stick on it. Intercepted Daniel. Every shot just wide on the deflection. Delgarno held in by Kasparaitis. Penalty coming up on the Canadiens. Delayed call. Delgarno shot. Wow, looking has got it under the left pad, and there's the whistle. As Patrick Waugh hangs on, the Canadiens are going to be short-handed.
Well, J.J. Daniel is down, and it looked like Brian Mullen took him down with a stick. That's why Mike Keane just came in and gave Mullen a shot. But some of the only pressure in this entire period by the New York Islanders. There was a shot by Daniel on Mullen, and watch the retaliation. Ooh. Yep. Bit of a spear there to the leg by Brian Mullen that didn't get picked up, I don't think. Or is he headed to the penalty box? Yeah, now it looks like he is. Daniel is still down, holding his groin.
Ferraro, Curvers, shot, Waugh the save. Guy Carbonneau knew right where he was going with that. Well, he's right by Waugh.
Oh, it was pretty close.
Malakoff holds it in. Centered for Ferraro. Lets it go to Curvers. Shot again. Waugh. Ferraro poke checked away and cleared out. Muller poke checking the rebound away.
Well, the right idea by Tom Curvers, but the Islanders forwards, who usually outnumber in front, have not as the shooter on the play. And at no time do you see more Islanders than Montreal Canadiens in the shot. We had 2 blues and 3
Bellows walks out, and he puts it past Glenn Healy as he just gets it out of range of the stick. But that is typical Montreal hockey. They're very sound in their own zone, and once they get possession of the puck, they don't wait. They move it up the ice.
During the second
on the ice, but did move his head to talk to the trainer. Sitting up talking to the trainer. This is not a nice place to be when you got pucks bouncing around, huh, Jacques?
Asked Jacques Demers yesterday in practice. Jacques Demers was felled by a shot that got him right in the back of the head. John Leclerc shot it. He was down for about 3 minutes, and the Canadiens trainer had to go out and revive Jacques. There is Carbonneau offering Jacques Demers his helmet. And that's not the first time, Gary, in the last week that Jacques has been down on the ice. And in both cases, it was John Leclerc. John Leclerc took out Jacques Demers and Guy Carbonneau with a hit, an accidental hit last week. And Derek King looks like he's in bad shape right now.
Are you in favor of the visors?
Well, I at least want it to be a player's option.
It's the kind of play where if you have the visor on, it just bounces off the visor and you're not hurt.
I can understand, obviously, the reason for helmets. I played 9 years with that.
He held the short side post. On the line, got it away to Damphus. Canadiens, Lebeau has the go-ahead goal, overskated. Flatley pushes it away. Keane, Kasparaitis collide. Flatley back on the puck. Lebeau moves over. Up for Ray Ferraro. Canadiens defense changing behind the play. Ferraro in with Mullen. Back to Mullen. Great pass. Shot wide on Patrick Waugh. Blocked by Desjardins. Again, Damphus to Keane. Keane kicking it in. Hit by Flatley and Downey.
After one of the Canadiens went by him, Ferraro looked like he tripped on his own guy's stick. Kasparaitis' stick.
He has had, of course, just a great playoff. Couple of shots tonight, but no points to show for it.
There are 33 playoff games coming into this season. Ray Ferraro had 7 goals, stepping up on Vincent Damphus. That looks like a pretty good trip to me. So the Islanders dodged 1 bullet, but not the second one.
Kasparaitis at 6:42 goes on the hooking call. This will scores! They tied the game!
You know, the Canadiens did everything right on this play except one mistake in the neutral zone. When Denis Savard thought he had it, Steve Thomas, even with 2 Canadian defensemen back, they backed in and allowed him to get across the blue line and rip one. This is the first really good rip Steve Thomas has had at a puck in this hockey game. He's fanned on most of his shots, but he didn't miss this one. right between the legs of Patrick Waugh with 4 Montreal Canadiens all around him. And the Islanders have tied it. Hey, listen, they're used to being down. They've been down in games. They've been
Saved by Healy. Dion. Savard knocks it down but couldn't control it. And it'll be played up ice on the fly. Flatley crisscrossing Benoit. Oh, nice pass to Ferraro. Hey, Ferraro. Backed it up for Flatley. DiPietro got there. Flatley took him down. Flatley tied up by J.J. Daniel. DiPietro at the board. Uwe Krupp moves in. Krupp trying to hold it in and does. Back to Flatley. Flatley dropped it off. Overskated Brunet. Krupp steps up again. Uwe Krupp. He's got some room. Krupp to Mullen. Mullen let it go through on Waugh. Gets his own rebound. Backs up to the wide side. Bellows is there. 8:11 left to go. Game tie. Brunet was trying to break it center. Uwe Krupp sends it back in. Goal picked up at 10:31 by Thomas. Healy got the assist on it to tie the game at 2. Muller want to move on Pilon. Muller shot deflected by Kasparaitis. Got our Turgeon shot. Wow, save! Bollock scores! The New York Islanders take the lead 3-2.
Patrick Waugh complaining about a kick-in. I haven't seen anybody wave it off.
Linesman is talking with referee Bill McCreary. They can go upstairs on the video replay, or the video replay will look at it anyway. See whether or not it may have been kicked in.
We'll get a look at it from overhead. Pierre Turgeon brought it in, took a shot on Patrick Waugh, and then David Bollock standing there was pounding away at it. Oh no, that went off. If anything, it went off Eric Desjardins' skate, number 28. Bollock at one point made contact with his skate, but I don't think it was his skate that deflected into the net. There is where Bollock makes contact with it, and then it hit at least Desjardins and Patrick Waugh after that. But look at Haller, number 14, was playing far too wide on the play and allowed Turgeon a lane to get to the net. It's going to stand.
Went for the wide side. Daniel stepped up, but Thomas was there first. Brisebois will chase it down. Goal coming at 12:51. Bollock's third of this playoff season and the 4th in his career. Delgarno and Turgeon picking up the assist. Behind the net, J.J. Daniel. 6:27 left to go here in the 3rd. Daniel will get it back. Spinning Guy Carbonneau. Uwe Krupp knocked it away. Desjardins, who just came on the ice behind the play, lost it for Ronan, but Ronan was stood up by Patrick Flatley and taken out of the right. Ferraro at center, trying to break it from Mullen. Mullen's got it. Mullen all alone now with 4 Canadiens with him, so he'll send it deep. Patrick Waugh comes up to get it. Leclerc bouncing on him. Mullen trying to hold it in, can't. Ronan tipped away from him by Leclerc. Picked up Haller. Haller goes by Mullen to the red line. Haller moves in, but he waited too long. Ronan was way too... Shot! Score! DiPietro! What a play to tie the game up!
What pressure by the Montreal Canadiens, and the Islanders were down a man because Brad Delgarno was on the ice hurt on the sideboards, but still not enough Islanders got back in front to help, and it was an absolute ping pong. I mean, the puck was everywhere. Denny Savard fanned on, and look at it, it's jumping all over the place. Paul DiPietro corralled it and did a terrific job of just getting the puck away. David Bollock, number 25, got back in to help just a little too late. Glenn Healy just had to watch the puck bouncing all over the place. And at one point here, it looks like he's going to try and get to his feet right there. And then, no, he had to try to get back down to the ice. So just that little nudge of getting up to his feet put him off the ice enough to allow DiPietro to get the puck under him. And finally, Brad Delgarno was up, but he was down on his back during that entire sequence.
The shot missed it as he went wide side post. Thomas. At center, Brian Bellows. Bellows ahead for a hold, who almost intercepted that one. Gets it back now, starts up with 4:20 left. Muller spun him around on the check. Canadiens fans. Into the net by Brunet. Coop is still down, and there's the whistle.
He should be hurt, Gary. His legs went in different directions when he went down, and Brunet looked like he took him out with a stick down low. No wonder Coop wants a penalty on the play. See what he's motioning to? I think he got his leg pushed or speared from behind, and you don't have to give a guy much of a nudge to throw him off. Watch it. See what he did? You put the tip of your stick, and if you can get it caught in the sock or make contact with the back of the leg, instead of hooking the player back, you push him forward. And it's really tough to recover from it. Very dangerous when a player is going back behind the net like that, and Brunet got away with it.
That's what El Arbor is upset about. He wants to know why there was no call.
Hat-trick against the Nordiques, and has been in the lineup ever since, and he launched a rocket that Glenn Healy had trouble squeezing off here. Might have dropped a little bit. Looked like it hit a stick, but Jacques Demers has used 28 players in the playoffs. Coming into this game, this series, the Montreal Canadiens had used more players than any other team in the playoffs. Jacques Demers had used 9 defensemen.
I whistled. That was an offside. A delayed offside call. Delayed because it's hard to hear the whistles. Desjardins was coming down the middle to take the shot. And you see the Islanders again unhappy that that shot ended up being taken. Well after shot deflected off the boards. Good play by Brisebois. 1 minute left to go in regulation. David Pollock there. Pollock clears it out of the zone. Ferraro up on the hit against Brisebois. Brisebois pokes it away. Kasparaitis back to Ferraro. Ferraro coming. He's alone. Ray Ferraro poke checked away by Odelon. Odelon got it to DiPietro. Around Pollock. Can't get it around Malakoff. Back to get it as Odelon. Canadiens also played 3 overtime games against Buffalo. Saved by Waugh. Ray Ferraro, turnaround shot. Patrick Waugh got it with a right pad. Sits on the board. Savard. Well, there's one game saver for a goaltender. Kerber's pass. Schneider to Savard. Starts it out Dion. Dion, Savard, and DiPietro. DiPietro spinning it in as he got hit by Mullen. Far side. Gilbert Dion. Dion tried to drop it off. Coops there on him. Dion did. He got rid of it, but Ferraro was there. Held in, yeah, no.
Brace a bad choice. Neither is Ray Ferraro, and he came very close on that one. Just clipped the outside of the net on his spin around in front. Well, the Islanders have a number of...
Wide of Glenn Healy. Brunet able to hold it in. Kasparaitis takes it away from him. Keane moving in on Kasparaitis, who got it out of the zone. We are underway in the OT. The first here, game tied at 3-3. 2.5 minutes into the overtime. Full 20 minutes, of course, if needed. Keane back. LeBeau trying to move in. Shut down. Good play, Benoit Hogue. Hogue will take it back in behind his own net. And reverses direction with it. Pilon. Pilon through the middle of Thomas. Good pass. Thomas coming with Hogue. Thomas tied up Brisebois. Stripped free. Left it. Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald. Centering pass. Deflected. Did not get in on net. Was blocked by LeBeau. Benoit Hogue back to the point. Nobody there. Vasky will play it at center. Vasky sends it in. Both teams change it up on the fly. Game tied at Leclerc was cutting. He was behind the D, but Ronan couldn't get it to him. Carbonneau save made by Healy. Delgarno with Ronan on him. Sweeps it out of the zone. There'll be no icing. Patrick Waugh forced to play it. Desjardins starts it up ice. Eric Desjardins. Delgarno in front of him. Goes the other way. Shot. Blocked the corner by Vasky. Leclerc over. Hits Vasky. Who got it around to Delgarno. Delgarno into the middle. Bad pass. Bellows shot. Blocked. Dennis Vasky down on the ice to block it on the errant pass. Turgeon brings it in. Turgeon. Delgarno in front. Turgeon waiting. Shot. Save. Rebound. Shot. Save. It was blocked by Muller on the turnaround shot lying on the ice. Bellows the other end. What a chance for Brad Delgarno on the ice. Swept it in. Turgeon back. Turgeon still has it. He has played an enormous game. Domfus the other way to Muller. Muller. Curvers on him. Centers it. Held up behind the net. Taken by Bellows. Bellows draws it back to the corner. Domfus. Domfus trying to get it to Bellows cutting. Ray Ferraro steps up and takes it. Each team has had chances here in the overtime. Near side, Tommy Curvers. Waugh the save. Rebound. Loose. Ferraro swept it wide. Ray Ferraro missed the empty net.
That looked like it was a routine save for Patrick Waugh, but the rebound got away from him and created his own monster.
And Ray Ferraro was there. This will be an icing call, and Mullen's really upset.
And now Ray Ferraro. This is the shot by Tom Curvers. Patrick Waugh could not control it. And if not for a diving play by Brian Bellows coming back in to throw Ray Ferraro off, this baby's over. Oh, man. Patrick missed it.
Point shot deflected wide. Matthew Schneider taking it. Rebounded, running in front. DiPietro trying to center. DiPietro does. Healy makes the save. Into the corner. DiPietro again. Fitzgerald blocks it. Savard. Pinned up by Kasparaitis. DiPietro the puck behind the net. DiPietro cutting to the middle. Dion to Savard. Savard to Dion. Dion the shot. Missed it short side. Pilon can't get it out. Dion able to hold it in. Dion sends it the other way. Thomas moving over. DiPietro beating to it. Matthew Schneider. Point shot. Save made by Healy. Rebound Savard. Savard centering tip. Healy the save on Dion. And Fitzgerald comes out of the zone. Then Hogue kicking it ahead. Low line. Hogue cutting. Thomas in front. Hogue centering. Fitzgerald. Saved by Waugh. Picked up by Odeline. On their feet at the forum. Lyle Odeline. Fitzgerald hit by Hogue. And a whistle and an offside call.
Oh, boy. I shouldn't have had that 14th cup of coffee. Talk about a wake-up call with terrific overtime action. This is terrific action, not a real conservative approach at all, and bodies flying everywhere. Denny Savard dumped it in front. He got flattened again when he was in front of the net. Paul DiPietro getting squashed against the boards. Fitzgerald, number 14 of the Islanders, you know, he had to transition. He had to take it on his backhand and try to poke it up to his forehand, and that's
to the net. Turgeon looking. Volek gets to the net. Intercepted. Delgarno. Shot. Not in on goal. Still there. Carbonneau. Puck loose. Volek can't get the shot. Melikov does. Deflected into the seats. They're everywhere.
You know, it's almost as if there's no checking going on in the neutral zone. The play just moves to every slot area, and then
taken away by Brisebois. Curvers chases down. Tommy Curvers dumps it back to the blue line. Brisebois goes back to get it. Reversing with Ferraro coming behind the net on him. Mullen tried to hold it in, couldn't. Was tipped out by Keane. There'll be no icing. Then Healy comes out to play it. Around the net. Patrick Flatland's pass intercepted. Canadiens regroup at center. Sent in by Dano. Nobody there, but Healy's got to play it because Keane was moving in on it. Ryan Mullen trying to get it out of the zone. Did not. Keane had it. Mullen took it away. Goes cross ice. Flatley from the red line in wide of Patrick Waugh. Brian Mullen. Mullen looking in front. Ferraro was cutting. Waugh hit that with a goalie stick. Thomas in the corner tied up. Daniel's got it. Daniel coming with LeBeau and Keane, but it's a 3-on-3. Keane sets the pick. Moving in. Daniel the shot. Healy the save. Kasparaitis lost it. Good control in the corner. Down the middle. LeBeau, and he missed it on the short side. Daniel back. Daniel trying to get it behind the net. Thomas lost it. Kicked away by Keane. Again, LeBeau, top of the slot. LeBeau dumps it in for Keane, rolls through everybody. Healy plays it himself up the boards. Islanders get it. A shot, Waugh the save. Turgeon! Waugh makes another save on him. And they avoid another bullet. Muller lost it. Fitzgerald spins it right back in. Pierre Turgeon, you'd never know that he's coming off an injury the way he has played in this game. Muller up for Bellows. Bellows, the crisscross with Danfus. Poke checked away by Melikov. Bellows follows it up himself. Couldn't control. Delgarno has it. Back up ice. Ray Ferraro. 11 minutes left in the first overtime. Ferraro. Delgarno cutting the shot. Waugh the save. Volek couldn't get the rebound near side. Muller off the board. Savard. Muller and Danfus. Dennis Savard at the red line. Looking. Savard just sends it in as he had no one to go to. Healy holds it up for Krug. Letting Dion spin off the other way, then starts it up himself. Flatley at center. Flatley will bring it in with Ferraro. Save made. Ferraro cruising in, but Waugh's got it in the glove.
The Islanders appear to have tilted the ice towards Michael
Krug tried to leave it for Hogue. Canadiens got back in time. Centering pass blocked. Now DiPietro starts up ice. Can't handle it on the backhand. And Kasparaitis will chase. Teams quickly getting over the boards. Kasparaitis. Guy Carbonneau poked it away. Kasparaitis got it back. Taken right back into the zone. Guy Carbonneau after Kevin Haller had blocked it. Kasparaitis back to get it. 9:09 to go in the first OT. Benoit Hogue's pass. Turgeon able to feed it out of the zone to Thomas. Thomas coming. Knocked down by Leclerc. Back. Three defensemen back. Mullen trying to send it. Lyle Overline was there to block it. Overline. Near side for Keane. Keane coming. Vaski in front of him. Keane looking. Shot. Healy the save. Up over his shoulder and behind the net.
Line dumping it up to Mike Keane. We'll get a real good look at it from this angle. Vaski back. It's the end over enders. Anybody that's ever just played pitch and catch knows there's a spot right above the armpit. You get a ball thrown there, you have trouble getting your glove up into that position. You know, you don't know which way to put your elbow, and that looked like the situation facing Glenn Healy on that one.
Muller's got Bellows already up there with him. There's Bellows, wrap around Bellows. Not quite. Turgeon, he had a pretty good chance. Healy was struggling to find it. Turgeon moves it in. Turgeon taken down to the boards by Daniel. Kicked deep behind the net. There the Canadiens will start it up ice again. Intercepted by Krupp at center. Back into the zone. Brisebois. Brisebois again going behind the net. And Daniel, and a penalty coming up for roughing on the Canadiens. J.J. Daniel, who got away with one on Turgeon, will not get away with a second.
Can't believe J.J. Daniel took this penalty, Gary. I mean, I think he's complaining about something Turgeon did, but you got to know that in overtime, forget the retaliation. You see Turgeon being down by Daniel, and Daniel, you really gave a rough ride. Turgeon stepped out of the way. There was the face smush that Daniel wanted to get him back for. Now he gets him back, but you have to ask yourself, at what price? Watch this. Boom. Elbow right up into the face of Pierre Turgeon. How many times have we said this? Don't let your battle interfere with our war. That's
saved and cleared out by Guy Carbonneau.
You know, the Islanders are almost too close for the rebounds. Raw has been letting them come off his pads really strongly, and they just blow by the Islanders.
Power play Islanders. Brisebois. Canadiens not going to take any chances. Ferraro's got it. 50 left on the power play for the Islanders. Malakoff again. Uwe Krupp starts it up ice. Krupp to Ferraro. Ferraro getting around Guy Carbonneau. Ferraro brings it in with Turgeon. Onside. Hogue. Canadiens thought that was offside. Ray Ferraro in front. Turgeon. Pass blocked. Matthew Schneider battling Curvers. Schneider just pins it up, wants a whistle, and Overline gets dumped. Everybody wants a call. Muller! Saved by Healy into the seats. Kirk Muller tried to do it single-handedly. That close.
Great move by Kirk Muller on a 1-on-2 with really what looked like no chance of getting through. See it right here. Delgarno is back. Pulled it to the inside, and Glenn Healy just got a piece of it to send it up over the glass. You know, Healy was so surprised on this when he didn't even have a chance to move out of the play. Healy's pretty well tucked back in his net. Look at him. He's just about on the goal line.
Dennis Vaski's got it. Vaski leads the rush for the Islanders. Bounces off the stick of Desjardins around the boards for Dion. Dion, Malakoff in front of him has it. Malakoff sends it right back in. Haller goes back. While watching the play behind him with 4:14 to go in the OT. DiPietro up for Savard. Dennis Savard leaves it in the middle. Not a good pass. Back in Thomas. Thomas sends it in. DiPietro tried to put that check on. Benoit Hogue. Fitzgerald in front. Didn't get a stick on it. Just went right through the near side boards. DiPietro starts again. Dion and Savard. Benoit Hogue was there to get it. On to DiPietro. The shot blocked. Sits Savard. Bounced over his stick. Pulled in, but Desjardins was there. Desjardins drops it. Carbonneau will send it in off the boards. Leclerc trying to get there first. Didn't. Well, Pilon reached.
Good play by Richie Pilon. Guy Carbonneau knew it was an icing call, but he was gambling that Leclerc could jump by both Islanders.
Really not much of an angle. Damphus has it. Damphus again looking to the point. J.J. Daniel shot. So it's loose. Bellows. Penalty coming up. Danfus, a penalty coming to the Islanders. 1:45 to go in the overtime. Muller tips it to the near side. Played there by Benoit Hogue. That will get the whistle and a power play for the Canadiens.
Bellows, he took such a beating in front. And Vaske was cross-checking him on the side even when he was down. Yeah, it's cross-checking on Vaske. That last shot right there on Bellows. Good thing Brian Bellows has that flak jacket on.
Pick any one of the three by Healy. Oh, Kasparaitis right to the face of Kurt Muller. They were doing battle in front.
I can't get over some of the straight punches to the face that some of these guys are handing out.
In wide open territory.
And Darius Kasparaitis.
Muller's there. Danfus. Danfus goes to the point. Desjardins. He did not hold it in. It was a bouncing puck and it came outside. Oh, save by Healy!
Routine save at this point for Glenn Healy. No problem at all. He just scooped it up, tossed it back out onto the ice as soon as the whistle went. See, Malakoff went for it and it jumped over his stick. Brian Bellows was right there on the other side. Glenn Healy up, scooped it, whistle, throw it back in.
Can't believe it. Both goaltenders have really put on a show here in this overtime. Shots are...
Well, Brisebois can bring it home. He's got a good shot. And in full stride, he just caught all of that one and labeled it for the post to the left of Glenn Healy. It's a real good shot, and you can see how far to the net Glenn Healy was. He still had to react quickly.
And way out. Kurt Muller, Pierre Turgeon on the faceoff. Muller winning it. Bellows takes the shot. Blocked as it hit Muller. Muller over to get it. Backs it up. Leclaire hit by Krupp. Healy swings it around. Delgarno. J.J. Daniel stepped up to hold it in. Leclaire and Krupp collide. Leclaire has it. Leclaire leaves it. Muller hit by Turgeon and Krupp. Down goes Leclaire. Leclaire's got it. Leclaire turns, shoots, missed it. Rebound. Healy covers with Leclaire and Muller both moving in.
Well, that last little bit didn't look like zone
line in front of him. Ferraro centers. Deflected Delgarno. Ferraro for the game winner. Rolls in front. Danfus is there. Danfus starts the other way. And the Canadiens change again. Patrick Roy got knocked down behind the play after that shot was taken. Delgarno to the middle. Here comes Turgeon. Turgeon waiting for help as they're changing up. Rolls it in. And Roy will cover as David Volek was cutting to the net. Stick on it. 2-on-2 the other way. Thomas, Turgeon. Turgeon moving in. Daniel in front of him. Turgeon looking to set up the tip. Wow, the save! Thomas, the second shot goes behind the net. Turgeon setting up Steve Thomas. And Patrick Roy made the save on the tip shot. Kasparaitis knocks it down. Canadiens trying to change up here. LeBeau sends it back in his own end. Benoit Hogue. Daniel. J.J. Daniel just enough. Fitzgerald moves up on him. Bellows not getting it far enough. Thomas, they may get caught in a change here. Fitzgerald's shot blocked by Brisebois. Thomas's centering pass deflected in the air. Cleared up, not out. Kasparaitis. Brisebois there. Danfus comes. 3-on-2 for the moment. Fitzgerald trying to get back. Danfus drops it. LeBeau shot. Scores! LeBeau! Canadiens win in double overtime. 4-3.
These people know one thing. It did not come easily to their Montreal Canadiens team all the way from the other end. It started out to be a 3-on-2, and Stéphane LeBeau got up on the play after Brisebois, 43, a defenseman, had gone to the net to really overload, and there were not enough Islanders to cover, and then he ripped his shot up over Glenn Healy, and off the post, short side, high, not a chance. Terrific play by Patrice Brisebois to move up on the play and to create an overload situation. That was an odd man rush, a 4-on-3 as it turned out. And yeah, you know they loved it.
The Canadiens have set a new record, team record, 10 consecutive Stanley Cup wins, and 6:21 of the second overtime. LeBeau, 2 goals in the game. Danfus and Brisebois picking up the assists, and the Canadiens lead the series now against the New York Islanders, 2 games.
Until Pierre Turgeon, in on right wing, knocks it in the net for a 1-0 Islanders lead over Montreal. But the Canadiens fought.
Again, Danfus in, shot. Healy makes the shoulder save as he got the stick glove up on that one. And then Vaski will send it in. A couple of good scoring chances at each end early on here. Shots 2-1. Islanders with the advantage. Kurt Muller cuts through center. Bellows with him. Muller looking for a little help. Gets by Vaski. Fitzgerald checked it away to center.
Paul DiPietro has been moved up to Stéphane LeBeau's place in between Vincent Danfus and Mike Keane. They've generated 2 good scoring chances for first shift. So Jacques Demers goes with set lines a lot. But his guys seem to be able to interchange, you know.
Bullock for Kasparaitis. Keane takes him down. So Keane's responded. Kasparaitis came over against the boards and decked him. Keane found Kasparaitis and put it right back as he got the shoulder in on him. Just cleared out of the zone, so the hitting solid here early on. Pilon going back to get it. Pilon's got to play it from around his own net. There's Marty McGinnis, his second shift. Couldn't handle that one. Desjardins knocked away Benoit Hogue. McGinnis brings it in onside. Dropped it. Thomas saved by Waugh. Rebound. Kasparaitis shot wide on Patrick Waugh. Chances for the Islanders. They still have it behind the net. Tried to dump it back in front to McGinnis. Kasparaitis stepped up, held it in. Benoit Hogue. Hogue looking. They're setting up. Thomas cutting in front. Pass to him. Blocked. Marty McGinnis. Back for Hogue. Hogue. Pilon cutting. That was Thomas in front who couldn't get a stick on it. Pilon retracts. Dumped it into the corner. They rebound out in front. Hogue couldn't get there in time. Good defensive help. Wild over line down low. DiPietro from the red line. Tried to bang it in. Vaski was there to block it. Clears through. Wow. Let his defenseman play it in front. Desjardins got it. Both teams changing it up. Danfus dropped it for Keane. Shot DiPietro. Good shot. A better save made by Glenn Healy. Healy alive on that one as DiPietro snuck in behind the defenseman that time and had a screen. Wow, leaves it off for Kevin Haller. Haller off the boards. Moving in. Holding it in. Delgado. Haller gets it back. Haller around and out of the zone.
You have to ask yourself, who is favored by this kind of pace? There's a lot of hitting, but there's a lot of open ice out there. Keep in mind, the Montreal Canadiens are without LeBeau and Denis Savard. That hurts them. Both of these teams would like to clamp it down a little bit. If the pace stays like this, you know one.
They leave Muller high slot. There he is. Tried to wind up, couldn't get it. Centering pass to Bellows. Bellows plays it back for Danfus to Schneider. Matthew Schneider, 33 on the power play. Wraparound shot deflected. Tried to jam it in from the side. Bellows, Muller, both right on the doorstep. Healy, the blocker, came right straight down on him and cleared out by Hogue.
The Islanders have to watch for Brian Bellows standing at the side of the net. If the Canadiens can get it to him when that low defenseman for the Islanders moves up to the faceoff dot to defend, we saw Bellows step out and do one of those wide wraparounds in Game 2. That's exactly what he tried here.
Dion now comes out. Dion, DiPietro, and Keane on the power play. DiPietro sending it back behind the net. And the power play is over. 0 for 1 Montreal on the power play as the Islanders have killed it off. Desjardins back at center. Islanders changing it up. Tried to send it in. It was blocked. Came back to the line to Keane. Keane, Dion almost was cutting to the net. Good defensive play by Bollock that time. Haller rubbed up by Flatley. Coming with Muller. Patrick Flatley drops it for Bollock. Bollock to the middle. On the backhand. Takes the forehand shot. Wow, the save. Mullen couldn't get the rebound shot off. DiPietro cleared it up for Dion. And Dion gets it out of the zone.
Still hard for the Islanders to outnumber the Canadiens in front of their net. I mean, a replay of that would show you 3 Canadiens and 2 Islanders in front. The Montreal Canadiens seem to be so good getting back in quickly to help Patrick Waugh. When there are rebounds, it's a job to get to them.
Always a red jersey. In front, Turgeon misses the net. And as we mentioned, he went high. Didn't get it on goal. Near side, Tommy Curvers had snuck up. He couldn't get the shot off, though. Along the boards, held in. Good work. Bollock Pollock backs it up to Turgeon. Poke checked away Desjardins to center. Islanders have had great chances here. They've gotten the puck down low, but the last one, a couple, in fact, have not been on net when they've had shots from point-blank range. Thomas got dumped at center, and the New York Islanders get a power play with
net. That wide wrap that Healy took away from him with the poke check, and then Pierre Turgeon had a chance at the other end that went over the net.
Power play now with 1:53 to go in the first period for the Islanders. Hooking call at 18:02. Leclerc's out, and the Islanders have the advantage in this scoreless game now. Islanders are 1 for 11 in this series against Montreal. Canadiens control at center. Benoit Brunet. Brunet wanted to rag that a little bit. Got tied up by Thomas. Malakoff picks it up. Islander power play. 1:34 left in the first period. Longer than that remaining on the power play by a few seconds. Coop shot blocked up deep. And Desjardins looking to clear. Mike Keane batted it down and cleared out of the zone by Guy Carbonneau. For Guy Carbonneau, 147 playoff games now. Tonight he's tied 5th all-time for the Montreal Canadiens with Yvon Convoyer. Ray Ferraro on the power play. Islanders changing it up. Didn't have a point man. Ferraro with 13 seconds left to go in the period.
You know, that was a good chance for the Canadiens to really rush Ferraro.
Pilon, Pollock. Tipped it in, while the save, and Guy Carbonneau clears.
You bring up a good point. You've got to read that if you're...
The Sabres took on the Philadelphia Flyers. Game 3 of that final. And there was fog everywhere, Shoney. You remember this. Needless to say, the biggest problem fell into the laps of the goaltenders. They couldn't see anything. Down 2-0, the Sabres were able to get back in the series. Late in the first OT, Rene Robert, the shot that Bernie Parent never saw. Shoney.
Wow. And that whole break was created by Bellows having to go to the bench after that collision with his own teammate.
I don't think it would have been created if Brian Bellows hadn't delayed. He made a token attempt to try and get the puck away from the Islander, had it over in front of the Islanders bench, and then he decided to go out. If he goes direct to the bench, they get the man off.
Well, they got the odd man rush. The Islanders did on that. Cleared out to center ice.
Play by Brad Delgarno, and what focus by Pierre Turgeon. Here's Delgarno. He knows he's coming, and Kevin Haller, I think, thought that he had Turgeon taken care of, but unless you've got a stick tied up, you don't have him. Pierre Turgeon focused on that pass all the way right through Kevin Haller's skates and just drilled a low shot under Patrick Roy. And Pierre Turgeon has to produce for the Islanders to get back into this series. He understands that, and he is a different athlete this year. He is willing to accept the responsibility, and he's accepted it here tonight so far.
First goal of the game, and he deflected into the corner. Turgeon's goal coming at 1:36 of the second. His 6th of this playoff season. Delgado and Pollock had the assists. It is his 18th career playoff goal. In the middle, Brunet. And while Brunet dropped it, Coop tried to clear. Intercepted. Brunet again. Finally, Curvers got it out of the zone. Steve Thomas at center. Thomas Hove and McKenna blocked that one. Derek King ran it in. Ferraro tried to hold it in. Could not. Dion's got it. Gilbert Dion brings it to center. 3-on-3 break-round shot. No dice. And a whistle as the net comes loose again. Brian Mullen bangs his stick on the ice. He wanted a penalty call. He's talking to Gary Fraser. And in front of the net, but lost the puck. He had Pollock there, and a penalty coming up as a Canadian has been dumped at center. Behind the play, I'm not sure who got him.
But it's Patrice Brisebois. The Islanders bench went nuts because they didn't think the play should be blown down. It's a very tough call for a referee. The Islanders went into the corner and were passing the puck behind the net, and it looked like their play might be bogging down. So Gary Fraser didn't want to take away the Islanders' good scoring chance. But at the same time, he has to worry about the safety of a player. Now, keep in mind, a lot of people here are yelling, dive, dive, that he took a dive. Well, guess what, folks? When you're killing a penalty, you don't take a dive in the neutral zone. You go down if you're hurt. If you take a dive and the referee doesn't buy it, your team's down 2 men. So I knew it wasn't a dive.
Looked like he took something right in the midsection that time. Brisebois obviously had the breath knocked out of him. There was no call on this. Al Arbor's calling Kerry Fraser over now, and I'm sure asking why the whistle was blown when the puck was being controlled by the New York Islanders.
You know what Al's talking about? He's talking about one of his players. He said, there was one of our guys down and there was no whistle then. So I think what he's saying, look, at least be consistent. And I've got pretty good at reading lips, but I don't know which player he's talking about. Was there an Islander down in this game?
I remember from the last game, but not this one. Block, Curvers wound up to take it. Mike Keane dropped down in front of him and cleared out of the zone again by Guy Carmino. 1:11 left on the Islander power play. The Islanders are leading it here by a score of 1-0. Pierre Turgeon has picked up the only goal of the game, even strength. Then Wahoo diddle and daddle, and that creates the offside. The old story about the blue line in hockey. Once you get there, you better get in because your team deflected by Healy into the corner. Back for Keane. Keane pushing it off to the side of the net. Nice play by Ferraro on the back-checking job that time. J.J. Daniel at center. Over to Breeze Clark from DiPietro to Keane. Keane tipped it in from the blue line to the corner. Actually get it flatly. Up Curvers, not out. Held in by Keane again. Keane, good shift to the point. Daniel shot. Deflected in front. Backhand shot at the side of the net by Keane. Cleared around by Flatley, and King will pick it up. 2 chances for the Canadiens.
Very confused Islanders on their coverage. Both forwards back in deep on this side and nobody out at the point.
Almost cost him the rebounds in front. Dennis Vasky waiting for King at center. Tips it over for Flatley. Daniel's there. Daniel gets it by Ferraro. Chased at the far end. Healy looking to see who's going to get there first. Then it was Vasky, so he let him play it for the icing call. Vasky blocking it. McGinnis picks it up. McGinnis back out. First time in 25 games. First playoff game, of course, for him this season. That knee problem he had. Getting back in action here at home. Played by J.J. Daniel. Daniel off the boards. Kasparaitis read it. Stepped up, put the hit on. Good shot on DiPietro. Kasparaitis took him down. DiPietro gets back up. Off to Ferraro. Ferraro. DiPietro moving on him. Back to McGinnis. Dropped it. Kasparaitis saved by Waugh. He got it with a blocker. Ferraro backs it up a little deeper. Daniel goes back to get it. Daniel 3 assists. Last 3 games. Has a scoring streak coming into this one. Kurt Muller making the move by Muller. Muller moving in. Damphus with him. Power play for the Montreal Canadiens. Muller got hit along the boards by Pilon. Islanders bring it 3-on-3. Kasparaitis sends it in. Flatley trying to hold it. Kasparaitis at the point. Tried to dump. Flatley helps out. Sends it all the way around the net. Played on the far side by Muller. 30 seconds on the power play for the Canadiens. They've got to get Snyder. Snyder dumps it in the corner. DiPietro with Pilon on it. Picked up by Vasky. Intended for Benoit Ho. Can't get it. This will be an icing call. But freeze.
An end-over-ender. Darius Kasparaitis does not have a good shot. From point blank, even that one was an end-over-ender.
That's one of the things he'll be working on for upcoming seasons.
Gary, his lower body strength is so great. I mean, he could be called Vasily Alexiev. You remember the big heavyweight weightlifter from the Soviet Union? His upper body isn't that strong. That's why he's not that effective in front of the net, but he's a terrific open ice hitter because he just thrusts that leg drive, gets him into good hits along the boards. In front of the net, he can't move anybody because he's not really strong upper body-wise.
He can do something about that. Yep. Turgeon center behind the net. Delgarno hit the side of the net with a shot. He was behind the goal line when he took that shot, so did not have any angle on it. Held in by David Bollock. Bollock drops it. Curvers. Turgeon! That hit off a skate. That was a great setup. Desjardins was in the right place that time as it hit his skate and deflected wide. Back to Delgarno. Islanders heat. Intended for Turgeon cross ice, but again, Canadian defenseman there to block it. Damphus 3-on-2, in down low. Mike Keane. Keane got ahead of Delgarno. Delgarno makes him pay for it. Delgarno and Mike Keane on the collision.
You know what? Mike Keane went for Delgarno there. Was this as if he said, I'm not going to let him.
Dion looking shot, jammed wide. Jesse Belanger. A great chance at the top of the crease. One of the best the Canadiens have had. Delayed offside call here. Won't matter. Cleared out of the zone. Now it'll be an icing call on the Canadiens. Malakoff going back to get it. They wave it off. Didn't get to the goal line. Malakoff starts it up ice for the Islanders for Thomas. He didn't touch it. And another run by Healy. Daniel able to hold it in. Muller can't get to it. Kasparaitis pushes it out of the zone. Now, as we've seen in the second period, problem the Islanders have had all season. The offensive chances are going the other way. And this game kind of flip-flops on them. The advantage they...
The two forwards out of the Montreal point men had to sag back in to take Bellows. Nobody did, so Healy had to take him.
Specialty teams in this game have not been able to convert. Islanders are 0 for 3. Canadiens 0 for 2. Only goal, 136 of the second. Turgeon from Delgarno and Volek. That has been it. Islanders back 3 on 3. Held in by Tom Kurvers against the boards. Desjardins put the big hit on Mullen that time and took him down as he spun him around. Shot put on by Fitzgerald, near side on Haller. Backed up to Leclerc. Coop moves in on him. Leclerc still has the punt, but forced in front of his own goaltender. Wow, watching him. Muller was alone at the blue line. Healy forced to play it. Muller had snuck by the defense that time. Leclerc holds it into him. Leclerc, Muller, Kurvers, and Loisel all there. Far side, Coop over to get it. Squeeze put on, but Leclerc's got the puck to Muller. Muller left alone for a moment. And nobody cutting. Tommy Kurvers hog ties him and takes him down. Loisel comes away with the puck. All former Devils right there have played together for the New Jersey Devils. And Loisel, Muller, and Tom Kurvers. Up ice Fitzgerald. He sends it into the corner. Lyle Odeline back to get it. Odeline has it as he got away from Mullen. Canadiens trailing here 1-0 with 3:29 to go in the second period, and the hitting continues. Vansky on Guy Carbonneau that time. They're still tied up there in the corner with the puck somewhere down in the skates. Cleared around Malakoff, played by Volek. Volek, Delgarno, and Turgeon out there. Turgeon at center with Schneider landing the puck. Sends it in. Healy back to stop it. Full house here at the Island tonight. Hoping their Islanders can come away with victory number 1 in this series and close the gap to 2-1. Turgeon to Volek. Volek, Turgeon cutting with him. Volek to Turgeon. He knew he was there. Pretty good pass, but Schneider had stepped in and took it away. Nice defensive play. Benoit Brunet. Brunet centering. Malakoff there. Up. Not out of the zone. Carbonneau holds it in. His shot deflected over everybody. Sure, Healy saw that one. Brunet got a stick on it and knocked it behind the net. J.J. Daniel. Up the center as both teams change it up on the fly. Downpost moving in. Downpost spun away by Kurvers to Ferraro. Ferraro trying to break. Daniel ties him up. Brisebois back on the puck. Brisebois trying to get it out. Can't. Good job again to hold it in here. King behind the net. Looking. Penalty coming up. Call coming on the Canadiens. And there's the whistle. Derek King, good save. Turgeon moving in. So do the Canadiens as Waugh got bumped back into the net.
Kerry Fraser doesn't look like he's calling anything, but boy, did Lyle Odeline ever wrap his arm around Pierre Turgeon's face and squeeze him to the ice. Odeline is a force in front. By and large, the Canadiens' defense have to get by with their quickness because they are not a very big group.
Here in front. Nobody can get a handle here. Held in by David Volek. Back to Malakoff. He held it in the zone. 6 on the power play. Malakoff dropped it. Carbonneau couldn't get it. Malakoff again. In shot. Waugh! The save. Deflected wide. Turgeon centering pass. Power play is over. Even strength Canadiens. Tipped in front again. Turgeon was charging. Back for Turgeon, no. Delgarno shot over the head of Patrick Waugh. 7 seconds to go in the period. Muller over to get it. At the end of this period, it's the Canadiens who dodge the bullet. Turgeon the only goal. It's the only one we're going to have going to the third.
Patrick Waugh has seen a lot of New York Islanders traffic in front of him, and unlike game number 2, the Islanders really played the same kind of period as they did in the first. The Islanders have control of this game, I guess, in a territorial department, but the scoreboard is still tight.
Great defensive job done here by the Islanders in this game, and Al Iver's team will go to the third, leading the Canadiens by a score of 1-0. John?
All right, Gary and Bill, thanks a lot. And more action in the last 30 seconds of that period than the previous 19 minutes and 30 seconds. It's been very tight checking, a low-scoring 1-0 affair. Welcome to the Dodge Intermission Report. Jim Schoenfeld will take a look back at the second period. We'll also take a look at Jacques Demers, the man in charge in Montreal. His Canadiens are down 1-0 after 2 periods, thanks in part to Glenn Healy, who's robbing Brian Bellows, who cuts towards the net, but can't beat the former Bronco.
peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
How do you order Miller Genuine Draft Light? The cold filtered light with smooth draft taste? At a Fern bar? You don't. MGD Light is far too cool for a Fern bar. Say MGD Light and say no more.
Some fur. Some fur. Everyone prefers.
Preferred stock cologne from Stetson. What preferred men prefer.
For all of you with the courage to go it alone, to put your future on the line and your name on the door, there's the corporate card from American Express. Use it for all your business expenses. We'll organize them by category and even provide records of charges. It's a great way for any company to get a handle on costs. Call 1-800-SUCCESS. The corporate card to your success.
When it's this greasy, you need a more powerful cleaner degreaser. Castrol Super Clean solubilizes grease on contact, neutralizing its ability to stick. So if it won't come clean with Super Clean, it won't come clean.
When life turns up the heat,
Will they start the wedding without me?
This shouldn't take long, honey.
nothing protects you like Degree antiperspirant. It's body heat activated to release extra protection. Degree, your body heat turns it on.
How do you order a Miller Genuine Draft Light? The cold filtered light with smooth draft taste at a singles bar?
Give me an MGD Light. Anyone have change for 20? We'll let him in here.
Say MGD Light and say no more.
The Dodge Intermission Report is presented by the new Dodge, a division of the Chrysler Corporation.
It's still 1-0. The New York Islanders with the lead, looking to get on the board in this Wales Conference final. Welcome to the Dodge Intermission Report. John Saunders along with Jim Schoenfeld. Interesting guy in this series and in this game because he is handing out some tough hits is Brad Delgarno. Here's a guy, fought with Joey Kosher a couple years back, messed up his eye, left the game, didn't think he wanted to play anymore. Now he's playing terrifically.
Yeah, and it's been a long, tough road back for him. Once he left the game, his teammates thought perhaps he had lost heart for the game. A couple years ago, he came back. Al Arbor said, okay, if you want to play, you've got to prove yourself to me and your teammates. Well, he's paying off big for Al Arbor and the Islanders in tonight's game. And we're waiting for Brad to get rolling with the puck, and here he comes. Here's Delgarno coming up the ice, fights off the check, and watch his backhand pass to Pierre Turgeon for the Islander goal. Good speed, good determination, and good skill to make the pass. As Volek comes in, you'll see Delgarno throw a big hit, keeps the puck in, keeps the play going. Turgeon had a chance but waited, and he lost a scoring opportunity, but a good hit and a good pass by Brad Delgarno. Watch right here. Who's going to block the shot? That's Brad Delgarno doing it all except scoring goals tonight. And here he is, an excellent job back-checking, and he finishes the check very hard on Montreal's Keane. So there's a nice story about a guy that wondered whether he wanted to play the game or not, realized he did, and now he's playing with the passion that he brought into the game when he was first drafted by the Islanders.
And in a tight checking game like this, you need a guy who is going to play that type of style. You know, the Montreal Canadiens, of course, right now have won 10 consecutive games in the Stanley Cup playoffs. If they would tie a record if they get the win tonight with 11. Well, let's move to the International Hockey League, where the Fort Wayne Comets have won 11 in a row. 3-2 win over San Diego. Keep in mind, San Diego, a team that went 62-12-8 in the regular season, averaging almost 5 goals a game. They have 4 goals in 3 games in this series. One of the reasons, Pokey Reddick. Remember him? National Hockey League goaltender with the Winnipeg Jets. Big save here. Then Scott Krul goes in too deep, feeds Joel Savage, who puts it in. It's another win for the Comets, who are streaking 22 wins, 1 overtime loss in their last 23 games, 11 consecutive playoff wins. The goals against average is below 2. His save percentage at 94%. Pokey hasn't lost since March the 7th. He could become the second team in minor league history to sweep the playoffs with 12 straight. So Pokey Reddick and the Fort Wayne Comets looking for their first championship, the Turner Cup championship, since 1973. Back with more of the Dodge Intermission Report in just a moment, but inside the numbers, closing in, it's been very, very close in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year. Take a look at the first round. 20 games decided by 1 goal.
Magic Moments, presented by Dodge. Brett Hull defines the phrase chip off the old block. Bobby, his father, was one of hockey's greats, and Brett inherited his father's famous slap shot. In his own right, however, Brett has become an NHL star. In 1990, Brett surpassed Bobby's greatest season when the youngster scored 72 goals to set a record for goals by a right wing. For both Hulls, it was truly a magic moment.
A Dodge Ram pickup with a Magnum Cummins diesel has the power to out-torque, out-pull, just flat-out work Ford and Chevy diesels. Unquote. Dodge, the most powerful line of trucks anywhere.
Now get $500 cash back on regular cab Dodge Ram Cummins diesel pickups.
Tomorrow, the NHL is playing for keeps.
The Maple Leafs face the Kings in Game 3 tomorrow night, live on ESPN.
Welcome back once again to the Dodge Intermission Report. 1-0. The Montreal Canadiens are losing right now to the New York Islanders, but they have a 2-0 lead in the Wales Conference Final. Jacques Demers' success for him in the Stanley Cup playoffs, well, it is nothing new. But for Jacques, he's looking for his first trip into the Stanley Cup Final.
Kirkmello the shot, and he scores!
Jacques Demers has brought teams to the conference finals before. In '86, he took the St. Louis Blues to the Campbell Finals against Calgary, but lost in Game 7. He then moved to Detroit, where he led the Red Wings to the Campbell Finals twice.
St. Louis has not gone to the conference finals, and Detroit since I've left. I guess when you're a coach, you got to accept being fired, but maybe sometimes they say they can't replace 20 players. I never asked to replace 20 players because I think maybe you replace 2 or 3 and then the whole team starts winning again. But I hope so. I mean, I think this year with 102 points, we have the right to brag a little bit that we did have a good year.
That good year has come as head coach in the city Demers was born and raised, fulfilling a lifelong goal.
He was from Montreal, and you could see that this summer when he was hired by Montreal. You know, that was his dream come true, and Montreal is a great organization. They treat the players and the coaches really well, and he's showing right back to us too. I mean, he treats us really well, and we responded by playing well on the ice.
He's an inspiration for everybody. He talks all the time. He's a very emotional guy, emotional coach, and he's very honest with everybody too. I think all the players respect his ability as a coach and as a person.
Well, I get a lot more gray hair, and I think it's tough on coaches. Certainly, I don't know if it's that tough on players because they got to go out and play. All they care about is doing their job, and they want to be as intense as possible. You never want to see one of your players in overtime making a mistake that hundreds of thousands of people see on TV or 18,000 people see in an arena. I think when you go in overtime, you got to be so focused. I always tell my players, be focused on the job you have to do. Don't let the opposition disturb you, because there's a lot of things said on the ice. Don't let anything disturb you, but focus and stay with your teammates all the time. Just remember you got a job to do and just do that job. Don't expect anyone else to do your job, because that's when you get in trouble. Montreal has such great tradition, 23 Stanley Cup. I'm coaching what they say is the greatest hockey tradition ever, and I hope that I could bring the Stanley Cup back. It's not been won since '86. I hope I could be part of that. I'd love that. It'd be great. The one thing you always pride yourself as a coach is your playoff record. We don't have much to brag about us coaches, you know. We are so much under scrutiny and so easy handpick if some things don't go well. Salut.
Salut, bonjour, you're out the tour. Now, to listen to the players, here's a guy, you can tell they genuinely like this guy. He seems like a player's coach.
Yeah, he is an emotional coach, but his emotion is positive emotion. He's a guy you'll see embracing his players after a good play, after a good game. He really is part of the whole. He's not aloof. He's not a standoffish coach like some coaches are. I think he enjoys the camaraderie of the players. Now, there is a fine line there, and Jacques walks it very well because you can't overstep it or you're gone again. But I think here's a guy that the players enjoy playing for. And now he's done a great job this year. Could this be his first Stanley Cup?
It could be his first trip. He's only a couple of wins away from getting there right now. Jacques Demers and the Montreal Canadiens, however, are down 1-0. Kasparaitis with the big hit here on 1-0 after 2.
How do you order Miller Genuine Draft Light? The cold-filtered light with smooth draft taste during the big game? Say MGD Light and say no more.
When it comes to your financial future, Fortis can help protect you and those you love. Fortis, a worldwide financial services company, $46 billion strong. A powerful choice for mutual funds, life and health insurance, employee benefits. A name you can trust around the world and right in your own backyard. Fortis, solid answers for a changing world.
You know, it's always a good time to buy a case of Pennzoil, but now is a great time because you get up to $4 off of any other automotive product in this store. Pennzoil owes you one for making them America's #1 selling motor oil. So buy a case of Pennzoil and get up to $4 off of any other automotive product. That's Pennzoil's way of saying, thank you, America.
Pick up your specially marked case and get up to $4 back while supplies last.
This man has agreed to take part in an experiment about sleep. First, we told him that Travelodge has added a lot of little extras to make his stay more enjoyable. Things like free fresh brewed coffee in his room, a free newspaper, and free local phone calls. Did these nice little touches make it easier for him to enjoy his stay? Let's just say he slept very well. Stay satisfied. Stay with Travelodge.
How do you order Miller Genuine Draft Light? The cold-filtered light with smooth draft taste at a Fern bar? You don't. MGD Light is far too cool for a Fern bar. Say MGD Light and say no more.
It's crazy. They love it, but that's why they do it. They're the relentless men and women of sports, doing what most people think is impossible. Max Out, weekdays on ESPN.
Tonight, following SportsCenter, get a terrific recap of tonight's action and a look ahead to tomorrow on the Stanley Cup tonight, 12:15 or following SportsCenter. And then tomorrow night, Wayne Gretzky and the Kings look to go up 2-1 against the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's at 10:30 Eastern Time following baseball.
Attention passengers, flight 679 has been delayed. On Time Airlines. What's the flight number? I'm sorry, sir. Your flight's been delayed another 6 hours.
You're thinking smart when you're thinking ahead.
Oh, that's too bad. And thank you for flying on time.
Michigan Bell is Ameritech, your link to a better life.
Hi, I'm John Decker, and we've been telling you about the Decker difference. And one of those differences is how we treat our customers. It's really a simple business. Treat the customer with respect, common courtesy, give them fair prices, and really take care of them after the sale. It's the way I would want to be treated. It's the way you'll be treated. Come out today to John Decker Chevrolet Geo and see for yourself how the Decker difference means nobody does it better than Decker does. John Decker Chevrolet Geo, Cedar Springs, Rockford, minutes from Grand Rapids.
ESPN's presentation of the Stanley Cup playoffs is brought to you by the cold filtered light with the smooth draft taste, MGD Light, say no more, and by Visa, honored at over 6 million more places than American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. Gary Thorne, Bill Clement back with you on the island, where the Islanders, trailing in the series 2-0, will go to the third period with a 1-0 lead on the Canadiens.
And the hit parade continued in the second period, but the Islanders really picked it up. Montreal wasn't able to match them. The Canadiens are supposed to be a team that takes the body all the time, but Darius Kasparaitis started it with a big hit on Paul DiPietro. And as if one-on-one isn't bad enough, when the Islanders had their opportunities, they double-teamed and double-crunched Lyle Odeline. Kevin Haller. And the only goal of the second period is the only goal of this hockey game. It was scored by Pierre Turgeon on a terrific feed from Brad Delgarno. He found just enough room between Patrice Brisebois' skates right to the tape of Pierre Turgeon and right under Patrick Roy. Roy was surprised. He didn't even know it was coming.
And our Miller genuine draft scoring summary, the only one. Turgeon 6th at 136. Delgarno and Bollock picking up the assists on it. And now, New York Islander fans, they've been on their feet cheering here as the team came up because the opportunity for them to get one W on the board in this series, and the man who has made the difference thus far is Pierre Turgeon. One note here, these New York Islanders lost a league-high 8 games in the third period during the regular season. They had a lead going to the third in those games and lost 8 of them. Nobody lost more than that during the regular season. Well, we'll see what happens here in the playoffs. Bellows drops it off. They have gone 3-1 in the playoffs when they've had a lead going into the third, and we're going to get penalties early on. 25 seconds into the period, Carey Fraser, Kasparaitis get into a shoving match, and they'll be matching minors coming up here.
I think Bellows is the Canadian that's going to go.
Earlier tonight, a very special moment here at the Island. Dennis Bird, the injured New York Jet football player, is a very good friend of the Islanders. These teams use the same training facilities. He was introduced. Paralyzed with a football injury. They thought he would never walk again. He already is up, standing, doing some walking, and all season long since the injury, they have worn his number, the Islanders have, on their hockey helmet.
He looks like he's doing great, doesn't he?
Doesn't he? What an inspiration. And a very much recognized individual now in the greater New York area. Malakoff plays it back in his own end. We're just underway here. Now we'll skate 4-on-4 in this third period. Malakoff. Islanders leading it 1-0. Baskey near side in, takes the shot, deflected over Roy's head as Desjardins got the stick on it. Another stoppage of play, and the faceoff will be inside the line.
No, a fan jumped up to grab that shot and took it right in the hand. Now he knows what it feels like for a defenseman to try to block a shot with the palm of his hand. Dennis Vaskey really ripped that one. Out of the University of Minnesota Duluth, Dennis Vaskey said that his childhood hero growing up was actually Tom Curvers, because Curvers about 7, 8 years older, and Curvers won the Hobey Baker, the hockey equivalent of the Heisman Trophy, when he went to Minnesota Duluth.
Deflected to Malakoff. Malakoff shot wide of Roy. Hogue tried to knock it down. Vaskey saved Roy. He felt that one. Patrick Roy is up and skating. He's all right, but boy, that one caused the shoulder to dip down a little bit as it got him in the midsection. Vaskey on the touch-up on the icing call.
Vaskey has been a terrific player and an underrated player in the playoffs for the New York Islanders. He had a chance to play last season when the Islanders had so many injuries on defense, and he picked up where he left off last year this season. 2 big rips by Vaskey. Islanders continue when they get time to try to shoot it high on Patrick Roy. Turgeon scored right under him, but all of the Islanders say there's lots of room upstairs on Patrick Roy. It's just getting enough time with the coverage of the Canadiens lay on you in the offensive zone to get the shot away.
Here Turgeon will take the face-off. Daigneault cutting out of the circle as Kirk Muller will move in to take the draw. Muller talking with Daigneault here as he gets lined up. Gets the stick down, and Turgeon won it, but it ends up coming out of the zone. We're still 4-on-4 for another minute 22 here. Malakoff back in his own end with Vaskey. There's Malakoff. Malakoff and Muller moving in. Great pass into the middle. 2-on-1 break. David Bollock to Turgeon. Oh my gosh, he missed it, and he had Patrick Roy way over on the side of the net. Malakoff blocked out deep. That one had to hurt. Malakoff, Muller still down on the ice after blocking the shot. Vaskey, Muller down again. Wow, makes the save. And Muller will try and skate it off.
Kirk Muller, in spite of the fact that he was absolutely hobbled by the first shot from Malakoff, went down in front of Dennis Vaskey to try and block the second shot. That tell you something about him? Malakoff with his cannon ripped it right into Kirk Muller. Looked like it might have hit him around the knee. He is shaken up. He gets to his feet, and with the Islanders still pressing, was able to hobble in front of Dennis Baskey. He missed the block, but he tried.
Still feeling it as Kirk Muller goes to the bench.
How could you not like the way Kirk Muller plays? Every team should have a Kirk Muller, should be lucky enough to have a Kirk Muller, including the New Jersey Devils.
Who once had him and let him go. And have missed the bounce of that kind of player. Face-off will come to the right of Patrick Waugh. Islanders leading it here by a score of 1-0. 54 seconds remaining in the 4-on-4 situation. Islanders are trying to, for the 5th time in their history, come back from a 2-0 series and win it. They have done it 4 times before. One of those times was against the Montreal Canadiens team. Canadiens down a goal here, being shut out by Healy and company. Sent in by Keane offside as Krug blocked it. The faceoff comes back to center. No flow here for the first couple of minutes of the 3rd period.
Here's the low-angle look at Kirk Muller's block on Malakoff. Oh, man, worse than the knee, the ankle. No sweat, right, Kirk? Captain Kirk will be back.
That's my next shift. Off the face-off, DiPietro won that one against Benoit Hogue. Canadiens chasing it down while Oderline comes back in his own end. Along the way as the Canadiens started up ice, didn't do much with that one. Good play by Hogue, shot Krug, saved by Waugh. He looked behind him. Uwe Krug had the chance. Keane taken out of the play by Benoit Hogue. Great stand-up check and a penalty coming up. And I think it's going to be on the retaliation here. Gary Fraser making the call. Wait and see.
I don't know. Hogue looks like he's prepared to head to the box as well. High sticking against Benoit Hogue. And the Islanders just coming off 3 great scoring chances, Gary. You wonder how long they can hang on. There's the hit by Hogue. And then the second shot. But Gary Fraser obviously didn't see the retaliation by Mike Keane, or that'd be an even call.
Could be a very important penalty call in this game. The Montreal Canadiens get the power play, trailing here by a score of 1-0. Unable to convert. They've had 2 chances in the game, 1 in the first, 1 in the second. The Islanders have gone 0 for 4 on the power play. Got Demers instructing behind the bench. Muller right back out on the ice. Now this is a huge power play opportunity now for the Canadiens. It will be a 4-on-3 situation since we already had matching minors. The minors still have 16 seconds remaining on them.
It's almost as if the Canadiens are going to have to hope for a power play opportunity because the Islanders have just closed.
Elon takes him out again. Canadiens still in the power play. Centered for Bellows, who gets driven into the net by Brad Delgado. And Gary Fraser's going to let that one go. And now at center ice, Pilon gets hit in the face with a stick of Kevin Haller. All the way back at the blue line, Pilon and Haller got him in the face. Gary Fraser was down by the net. And I think there's nothing in all of this.
There was a lot going on. Gary Fraser was trying to spread out. Listen to this. You know, but when you're down a man, you go for those big hits. Sometimes the guy will spin away the way Dion did, and there were 2 Canadians headed to the net. But Richie
reflects to the near side corner. No one's got her yet. Kasparaitis sends it in. Glove down by Patrick Waugh. He hangs on, but the Islanders are keeping the play in their offensive zone, leading
part of the 3rd period. That shot was right at Patrick Waugh.
Quick changes being made here as the Islanders keeping the legs on the ice they want. He's off, trying to get it in front for Delgado. At his block comes to Curvers, tips it down low. They'll have Bollock setting up in front of the net. Shot on Waugh. Save made as Turgeon took it. Delgado back for Turgeon. Brunet moves over to get it. Brunet gets it by line in front of him. King's got the puck. King. Baskey back up the point. Baskey and Krug. Baskey shot. Waugh the save as Ferraro tipped it down and in on Patrick Waugh. Kirk Muller clears. Tried to center, Thomas. It went between Thomas and King. Guy Carboneau brings it out of the zone, and the penalty's over right now. Matthew Snyder out on the ice. Carboneau's all alone. Kasparaitis takes him off the puck on the stand-up check. So they do not convert. Neither team able to do anything with the power play. Remains 1-0 Islanders. Thomas starting up on the far side for the Isles. Dropped it back. Kasparaitis in the middle. King. Not quite as he reached for it. Daniel gets it over to Brisebois. Brisebois in the middle. Islanders and Montreal both changing. Sanoff's has it. Loisel has him. And that forces the puck to center. Good play by Claude Loisel. Lyle Oderline has to take it back in his own end. 11 minutes left to go. Third period. Far from over in this one. 1-0 Islanders. Shots are 23-13 in favor of the New York Islanders. Brunet didn't get it in, and Baskey pinned him up. Loisel sent it up in the air. Oderline blocked it. Baskey's there. Dumps it in. Matthew Snyder back to get it. Both teams again. Blue legs on the ice here. Snyder, blue liner. Deflected with a hoop. Got a stick on it. It ends up for Thomas. Muller poke checked it away. Benoit Hogue couldn't hang on. Islanders have not given up breaks to the Canadiens. They are back and covering. Shot by DiPietro. Hit his own man, Mike Keane. That was Gilbert Dion trying to get a screen from Dion to Muller. Knocked away Kasparaitis. Benoit Hogue coming. They got a chance for a 3-on-2 break here. Hogue moving in. Drops it. McGinnis offside. Denner, the defense for the Canadiens, joining the play now with 8:57 to go here. Shot, Bellows, save, rebound, kick to the corner. Healy, the big save. Uwe Krupp is looking at his goaltender. Healy's been knocked down. He waited for him to get back in net before he did anything with the puck since nobody was on him. 1-0 Islanders. Lyle Oderline to the red line. The flip in. Malakoff back to get it. DiPietro took a charge at him, but he got it out of the zone. Forced the play in. They're going to take chances here. Try and get this game tied up. Cleared out by Fitzgerald. Desjardins back to get it. Lehman. Schneider's shot. That was wide. Dion was setting the screen. Lyle Oderline holds it in. Again, Dion. Dion has Flatley on him. Dion. Keane. Keane. Shot. Held on to by Healy with Muller there.
The Islanders over
Bellows from Belanger. Deflected. Good defensive coverage in front. Tommy Corker's up for Mullen. Mullen breaking in. Mullen on Waugh. Saved by Waugh. Leaves it for Haller. Haller as Muller move right in on him. Both teams change it. Bellows again sends it in. Then he'll head to the bench. Malakoff back to get it. Malakoff up and out of the zone. J.J. Daniel. Daniel. Bounced off Bellows at center. Bellows has got it. Bellows drops it, waiting to clear. They do. Shot saved by Healy on the point shot by DiPietro. DiPietro surprised Healy a little on that one. Sent in by Bollock. Knocked down by J.J. Daniel. Daniel for Brunet. Rolls by him to DiPietro. Poke checked away there by Baskey to Turgeon. Turgeon at his own blue line just sends it in. Freitas ties him up. Puck left behind the net. Pilon can't clear it out. Danfus diving. Center. DiPietro save. Rebound. Save. DiPietro turnaround shot. Score! The Canadiens have come back on the rebound to tie this game up with 5:14 to go in the third period.
Well, Glenn Healy stopped a couple of terrific chances, and finally he needed help, and it didn't come. Healy was flat on his back, or at least sitting on his rear end. After this shot by DiPietro, you can see that he loses his balance. Benoit Brunet took another swap at it. 3 Islanders took Brunet. Nobody took Vincent Damphousse. A backhander up and over. Glenn Healy has tied this with 5:14 to go. The coverage was great for the Islanders. Look, everything was fine until Steve Thomas skated behind the net and tried to jam it between Kasparaitis and Damphousse. It hit a leg and came back, and that created the problem for the New York Islanders. Their coverage was perfect up until Steve Thomas tried to dump it out.
Damphousse now 1-1 in this series.
Chance, followed by the Brunet swipe. And then the Islanders really scrambling for coverage. It never did shape up the way they wanted it. Watch Healy. He couldn't even get his right hand up. It looked like it was stuck under him.
Oh, the fans again trying to make some noise. Waugh knocked it down. 14:46 Damphousse from DiPietro and Brunet. 16th career playoff goal for Vincent Damphousse in the first of this series. Lyle Oderline sends it in. Oderline back at the red line again. Right back in on Healy. Just behind the net for Uwe Krupp. 4:42 left to go. These teams played a double overtime in the last game. King the shot. Wow, the save. Rebound poked away by Muller, who was diving on the ice. Mike Keane. Keane bringing it in. He's all alone with Krupp. Canadiens changing. Leon had joined the play. J.J. Daniel skips over his stick. This one went through and Bellows shot, and Healy had to knock it away, and he was screened. They wave off any icing here. 3:38 left to go. Third period. Game tied at 1. Islanders have taken the lead at 1:36 of the second period on Turgeon's goal. And here in the third, Canadiens coming back late. Get it tied up. Danfus putting it in. Elon gets it out the center. Delgado to Turgeon. Turgeon tied up nicely by Lehman and Belanger. Played Brisebois. Off Delgano's back. Elon. Wanted to reverse. Couldn't. Heard it around the dasher. David Pollock. It deflected off a skate wide. Ray Ferraro's got it. Ferraro 3-on-3 the other way, and that one is blocked.
Second time the Islanders have come to the blue line and tried to make a play, and here comes Montreal. Those pucks have to go in deep.
Danfus near side to Brunet. Brunet the shot. That's blocked by Uwe Krupp. Over in the corner, Schneider again. Schneider pushing at it. Holt got it. Thomas moves in to help out. And while Holt still has it, players down in front of the net. Kurt Muller is out there. They're just laying on each other. Peel on the shot. Just wide of Patrick Waugh. No call. There's Muller and McGinnis are just getting up off the ice. Schneider and Holt. Schneider will turtle on this one. Wants a whistle. He's not going to get it. Now he does. Boneyman tugging down. No penalty. Uwe Krupp. Good play in the middle. Brisebois. The shot. Deflected wide. LeClaire tipped it. LeClaire still in front of the net. Can't get it to him. LeClaire, the turnaround. No shot. Cleared out of the zone by Kerbers. Turgeon brings it. 35 left to go in regulation. Turgeon! Waugh blocked it to the side. Going for the game winner, Pierre Turgeon. Time remaining in regulation, 25 seconds. Pollock and Brisebois. Game tied at 1. LeClaire, someone to feed to. Can't get it up. Now does. 2-on-1 break. Bellows on the right. Guy Carbonneau. Bellows shot. Missed it. Carbonneau back for Bellows. Bellows looking. Waiting in front for someone to set up. Can't get it there. Blocked Pollock. 6 seconds left to go in regulation. Melikov and run on the wings. Turgeon, one final shot. Wow, the save. We're going to overtime.
Well, neither of these teams looked like they wanted any overtime, did they? In the last couple of minutes, terrific chances. Brian Bellows had the game on his stick, but he tried to redirect on the pass from Carbonneau and just shoved it about 1.5 feet wide. Watch it. He never did stop it. He just tried to one-touch it, and it was too far in front of him to even try it, so he missed by 2 feet. Pierre Turgeon just before that cut in. Very often these kinds of shots will just jump up and you'll be able to get it with your equipment and bounce it in the net somehow. It got caught up in everybody and went by.
We are going to overtime again. The Canadiens and Islanders tied at 1-1 at the end of regulation. John?
Gary and Bill, once again, no spots. 1-1. We're headed to overtime for the 23rd time this Stanley Cup season. That is a National Hockey League record. And boy, was that an interesting last 2 minutes of the game. And what it essentially, you have to say, it was a pretty dull game to that point.
Yeah, it really was. The first period was pretty good. And then the checking got very close, very tight. The last 2 minutes, end to end, so you have to wonder, is this the way overtime's going to begin? Get this thing over in a hurry? Boy, I hope so.
Essentially, as you said, it's overtime as soon as the Islanders were tied in that game with the Montreal Canadiens. We will have an overtime ahead. We're tied at 1 apiece. Game 2 went to double overtime. What's ahead tonight?
Plants suffer from trouble as varied as nature itself. So turn to the source of advice and good ideas. Ortho. It's our nature to help.
In America, your car doesn't just get you from here to there. It's a part of your life. To give your car complete protection, Texaco has developed Haviland Formula 3 motor oil with not one but 3 kinds of protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Haviland Formula 3. Add more life to your car.
Call 1-800-528-1234 or your travel agent. Your best bet is a Best Western.
What's my day like? The sun comes up and my calls start coming. You want help calling overseas? I'm right here. Your kid needs to call you collect from camp. You need someone who speaks your language? I can help. Now, if you want to trade casserole recipes, my husband is the cook. By sundown, I've helped some people out. And if I'm lucky, there's a casserole waiting on the table.
The iPlan with a smile. AT&T operators.
The Stanley Cup Playoffs. The magic of the 93 Stanley Cup Playoffs is yours forever with this power-packed video. You'll cheer the overtime victories, last-second dramas, and hockey's star-studded performances. You'll find all the spectacular players and plays in the official 93 Stanley Cup video. To order for $19.95 plus $4 shipping, use your credit card and call 1-800-688-1993. That's 1-800-688-1993.
Welcome back. Wales Conference Final. We're headed to overtime once again. A good note for the New York Islanders, only allowing 1 goal for Montreal thus far. It'll be the first time since April the 28th that they haven't scored 4 goals in a game. Montreal has. And last time they didn't do it was Game 6 against Quebec. They scored 6 that night, but they only needed 1 to send us to overtime.
Yeah, and they win all their overtime games 4-3. So this is a real good omen for the Islanders. Both teams played a real good game tonight. What they did extremely well was eliminate rebound scoring chances. That's not an easy thing to do. But in the game-tying goal by the Canadiens, they had 3 whacks at it. The puck's going to go behind the net as it's brought in by Damphousse here. And Steve Thomas is going to try to clear it. It's going to hit a half leg, and from here you have the Islanders not taking bodies, chasing the puck. 1-2. There's the 3rd whack at it. And that's why we're here. That's why we're going into overtime. Very dangerous team to sit back on, the Habs are, because they're a team that is great with offensive zone pressure. So if you're playing a protective game, the puck's going to be in your own zone a lot, and they're really good at forcing turnovers and creating scoring chances off of them.
Okay, here's the thing I wonder about in a situation like this. You're the Islanders. You were 5 minutes away from getting your first victory in this series. Now you're knocked back on your heels a little. Is this similar to Game 7 against Pittsburgh when it looked like they had it wrapped up and then Pittsburgh tied it?
I think it's a little different in that the Islanders have to start wondering, is this the Habs' year? A lot of things have gone the Canadiens' way. Players are aware of what goes on around them in the playoffs, not only the series they're in, but the series that have gone on before and in the other divisions. And they know that this has been a time where the Habs have really had things gel. They've had games won that they didn't deserve to win. They've come back and tied. They've won in overtime a lot. So they're probably saying, boy, I wonder if this is just another one of those nights. They're going to have to fight that emotion because they're going to have a tough battle in overtime.
Yeah, and Montreal, on the other hand, as you say, they must be thinking that this is their year because things simply have been going right. They could take a 3-0 lead if they win this thing in overtime. Back with more in just a moment. We are between periods, between the overtime period and the 3rd period. And right now, let's take a look at your playoff leaders. Doug Gilmour has passed Wayne Gretzky, but that series is tied 1-1.
Coming through, cause you're giving it your best. Proud to be your bud. Budweiser. Proud to be your bud. Proud to be your bud. Ooh, yeah. Proud to be your bud.
Both Visa and American Express Gold cards can get you to England for the golf vacation of your life.
Charlie, how did your Yank do? Well, we're up on the 9th sea, and he wants to be up in 2, so he puts everything he's got into the shop, including his new graphite driver.
But should you have a stroke of bad luck, only Visa Gold can get you back on course, because Cape Cornwall's only pro shop doesn't take American Express.
Keep a grip on it.
Visa Gold, it's everywhere you want to be.
Here it comes, the ultimate baseball trip from ESPN. All the ball. Win a VIP trip to the All-Star Game and festivities beginning Sunday. Watch for details of ESPN's All the Ball Stars contest, presented by Swan Superstick.
The Wales Conference Championship game, and right now it's tied 1-1. Montreal looking to take a 3-0 lead. The Islanders looking for their first victory of the series, the 23rd game this year that's headed to overtime in the Stanley Cup Final. Let's take a look back at the first 22.
Himliav fires it in, not much in the shot. Himliav going back for the front of the net. Sweeney circles out, shoots, scores! It is over. Sweeney ends it.
He's had a good chance in overtime. 4 goals against Montreal in the regular season. Young scores! Scott Young in overtime!
Ferraro hits the red line, looking to float it into Mullen, moving in, he shoots, and Tabaracci stopped that one, it's in! The Islanders score!
And it's one for Howardchuk. Shots, kick out, save by Blue. Right in, they score! Himmelef knocked it in on the rebound.
Jones. All over Norton, puck comes free, Hogan front to Ferraro, scores!
Cleared in, Domfus, nice move, shooting right on, they score!
To LaFontaine, he gets tripped up, gets it to May, and over the line, here's May going in on goal, he shoots, he scores!
There's a break to Loisel, Ferraro in front, scores!
Big hit by Lowry. Puck's fed back off and Janney. Quick one in front, score! With Muller, Vincent Domfus, cross to Muller, shot scores! Kirk Muller!
This is Teemu Selanne. Gets around Merzen, one hands the pass in front, passes in front again, they score! The Jets win it in overtime!
Very lazily done by Bob Probert. Let's see if it costs Detroit. This is Foligno, he scored!
Greg Adams now for the Canucks, working his way in, gets the shot away, they score!
You don't want to see if you're a Detroit partisan. 93 with the puck, and he's got it now. Over to Rouse. The shot, score!
Le filet pour Gilmore. Andrechuk se passe à l'embouchure, tout près du filet. Gilmore tente de contourner, revient sur ses pas.
Kearney battling for it. They go crashing in. Ronan and Kearney. Here's a loose puck. Savard to Carbonneau. They score! Guy Carbonneau wins it for Montreal.
Janney with Shanahan over the line. Janney around everyone to Emerson. Tip it a tip. Brown scores on the rebound.
Brown's getting another chance. Top of the slot.
Save goal. Breedford.
Now it's Kurt Muller. Kurt Muller the shot. And he scores!
Now Robitaille walks out, shoots, blocked by McLean. Robitaille again, in front to Shewchuk, he scores!
He's got a chance on the break. Here comes Ferraro, 3-on-2. Ferraro drops it for the game. Score! The New York Islanders have beaten the Stanley Cup defending champions in overtime. 3-on-2 for the moment. Fitzgerald trying to get back. Domfus drops it. LeBeau shot. Scores! LeBeau! Canadiens win in double overtime. 4-3.
There truly is nothing like overtime in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and we have yet another one to come. A reminder, if you're tuning in for baseball tonight, it will come on immediately following tonight's Stanley Cup telecast. And we are straight ahead from yet another overtime, the 23rd of this season. Kirk Muller and Marty McGuinness didn't look like they wanted to head to that extra period.
You'll be surprised at what you get on the new Subaru Impreza L for just $12,999. Maybe even downright suspicious.
So go down to your local Subaru dealership and take a look. Jump up and down on the new smoother suspension. Stroke that galvanized metal. Go ahead, kick a tire. The surprising Impreza from Subaru. It's not just another new car.
What's my day like? The sun comes up and my calls start coming. You want help calling overseas? I'm right here. Your kid needs to call you collect from camp. You need someone who speaks your language? I can help. Now, if you want to trade casserole recipes, my husband is the cook. By sundown, I've helped some people out. And if I'm lucky, there's a casserole waiting on the table.
The iPlan with a smile. AT&T operators.
A noble warrior advised, the art of protection springs from within. One must stay vigilant against one's unfragrant perspiration, lest one provoke a hostile response. Thus, a Norse ritual is Right Guard Sports Stick. An aromatic array of the freshest scents and maximum protection against disarming wetness. Confirming the wisdom, the best defense is not to offend. Right Guard Sports Stick. Anything less will be uncivilized.
Performax from Pennzoil. New synthetic motor oil with Pennzoil's exclusive star molecule. Protects engine parts at ignition. Works like liquid ball bearings. Hangs tough during the most extreme driving conditions. Flows in severe cold. Performax from Pennzoil. Keeps it cool in extreme heat. Performax from Pennzoil. Fights against failure at friction max out. Performax. Protects to the max.
They played double overtime in the last one. We're back here at the Nassau County Coliseum. We're going to the first overtime. Canadiens and Islanders, Turgeon and Danfus have the only goals. Gary Thorne, Bill Clement, welcome back, everybody. And here we go again.
I think the Islanders, Gary, are the team that really had to do some thinking in the locker room between periods, because the last half of the third period, they started to make bad decisions. I mean, a lot of people might think that I advocate dumping the puck deep into the zone no matter who's carrying it. That's not the case. I can tell when the Islanders have their dump and chase guys, they made bad decisions in the second half, and it cost them this hockey game. I didn't think their coverage was very good in the third either, and you got to consider this. If the Canadiens win, it's the big stranglehold. You don't think the Canadiens aren't going to come out and try to put this thing away right away?
And we noticed in that third period, Bill, clearly both teams affected by the play they've had in this playoff season. The legs weren't there at the end of the third period for either team.
Yeah, well, that's why I really think that Montreal is going to try and open fast. I think that Pierre Turgeon will play early in the overtime to try to end it, but it will be Montreal that will really try to put it away early.
Well, it was an Islander lead until Danfus.
Yeah, until the Islanders really broke down. An errant clearing pass ended up deflecting out in front, and at that point, Vincent Danfus was able to find it and put it away. And the Islanders' only goal in this hockey game came in the second period. Pierre Turgeon has been big in this hockey game, but he was stopped here in the third period. He had scored the only goal in the second period. Here's another look at Pierre Turgeon trying to make it a 2-1 hockey game late. And the Montreal Canadiens had their chances.
Whoever's trying to center. Uwe Krug can't hold it in. The best Islander chances have ended up not being shots on net. At center, Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald's pass is blocked. Canadiens get it into the zone, intercepted by Kurvers. Kurvers up for King. King. Fitzgerald. Turgeon out there.
Depth to do it. Here's Pierre Turgeon's rifle that just ripped by Patrick Waugh. See how far to the net Patrick Waugh was? Boy, he really gets a good jump out of the crease and then lets the play come to him.
Canadiens try to equal the season playoff record of 11 consecutive wins. Deflected into the corner. Pilon went over to get it. Rich Pilon down on the ice. A pop-up by the Islanders. Pilon saves the bacon.
Please report to security. Ricardo
What a good block. Pilon had to go down almost head first on Brian Bellows.
All over, puck free. Muller tipped it. Ferraro looking for it. Haller, Muller, kicked away to Mullen. Mullen trying to get it in front to Ferraro. Kirk Muller blocked it and gets it out of the zone. Baskey back. Baskey couldn't hang on to it. Canadiens LeClaire, front pass. Muller was cutting in front, couldn't get it to him. Muller behind the net. LeClaire gets up for Bellows. Bellows tipped it. LeClaire. Muller got hauled down by Ferraro on the far side. They was down on the ice. Moves up. Vanderpool just a little room, but couldn't. Had to go to the corner. Brisebois back to get it. Islanders change it up. Patrice Brisebois. Near side to Daniel. Daniel looking ahead. Didn't see anybody. Just dumps it in on Healy again. Leaves it. Pilon back to get it. It's Pilon. Marty McGinnis headmanning, taken away by Brunet. DiPietro, and Paul was let go right there. Benoit Hogue reached in and took the Canadian Matthew Schneider down. He was trying to break into a 2-on-1. Brisebois in his own zone up toward Brunet. Brunet reached back to find it. Into the middle, DiPietro over to Brunet. Benoit Brunet moving in. We're in OT. Brunet shot deflected to the corner. Game tied here. It's 1-1 in game 3. Pilon. Big headbutt on that one as DiPietro went down, but put it in. Moving in. Flatley got decked. And the puck's underneath the pile, and down they go. Lyle Odeline at the end took Brian Mullen and flipped him.
Humanity flying everywhere. Did Flatley get cleared out or what? Standing at the side of the net trying to ram away at it. Tom Curvers ripped this shot wide. Good footwork by Ray Ferraro on the draw, and Curvers had to get it up in the air to get it over one of the Canadians that had gone down to block. Wide shots are often the nightmare for any goaltender. They'll go by one side and out the other side. And here's Ferraro just trying to keep the play alive. Flatley came in to try to jam away at it, and then got crunched.
That was Ed Ronan.
It was Ed Ronan.
We haven't seen him tonight at all, have we? I don't remember a shift that he's played tonight.
Right.
Ed Ronan, 30, looking, center, shot deflected in. Healy knocked it away. It was batted out of the air by Bellows. Delgarno into the zone. J.J. Daigneault is there. Bellows knocked that one. It may have been over the shoulders, actually, and batted it down on Healy. Delgarno cutting to the net. Got the point chance. Kasparaitis shot deflected. Just can't get it through. There's just no room. Back the other way, Canadiens. DiPietro's shot is blocked into the seats.
But the Canadiens have made no...
He's been tied up by Guy Carbonneau, or by Downforce, rather. Played by Malakoff to Thomas. Thomas has got Marty McGinnis cutting. Thomas open the shot. Saved by Waugh. Waugh lost his stick. Malakoff winding up. Can't get the shot off. Patrick Waugh gets his stick back. He lost the stick when he made the save, but it was right in front of him.
Steve Thomas can't shoot a puck any harder than he caught that one. He was going wide, then another move by Thomas, and just ripped it. So Patrick Waugh had to react so quickly, he just dropped his stick. Toe save. Yeah, Patrick Waugh had to get down so quickly, he just abandoned his stick. Said it might hold me up.
There you see the numbers for Steve's free. Kasparaitis able to get it out. Canadiens changing. Nearly got caught with too many men on the ice, and that puck came back for center ice in a hurry. Derek King over to Ferraro. Ferraro for the game winner. Wow, the save. Ferraro! He tripped over the stick of Patrick Waugh as he went for the rebound. Ray Ferraro. Great effort. Patrick Flatley. Mullen comes over to help. Mullen shot. Waugh tilted away. Not out. Askey takes the shot, deflects behind the net. Islanders getting great pressure right here. Mullen hit by Muller. Ferraro sends it back in front. Flatley spun around, couldn't get it. Canadiens come back 2-on-2. Dion is ahead of the play. Shot Bellows, blocked by Kasparaitis. Played by Glenn Healy. Canadiens trying to change here. Flatley had to drop it back to Ray Ferraro. Wow. Pretty good shot. Turgeon trying to hold it in. Battles in the corner. Delgarno dropped it off. Bollock had started to the front of the net. David Bollock spins it back to Delgarno. Taken away by Desjardins. Desjardins blocked by Turgeon. Bollock reaching for it. Couldn't get it. Mike Keane sweeps it out to Danfus. Vincent Danfus. All white jerseys in front of him. Poke checked away by Malakoff. Canadiens changing again. Fans wanted too many on the ice. Won't get it here. Delgarno sending it in. Blocked and gloved. Turgeon again. The shot just missed. He put it through a screen and just missed the wide side. Canadiens back the other way. 3-on-3. They wait to set it up. Carbonneau scores! Guy Carbonneau, the captain of the Canadiens, has given Montreal a 2-1 win in overtime and a 3-0 lead in this series.
Nobody knew that he had scored right away. Glenn Healy didn't, nor did Guy Carbonneau. But he stayed wide, and the pass came from the other side after the Islanders had just squeezed another one by Patrick Wall. Once again, Gary, the Islanders had their chance in overtime to win this hockey game. And Al Arbour is out on the ice, and he is hot. He wants a piece of Kerry Fraser or one of the officials. I'm not sure what his beef is.
I think it's for a call not made at the other end that allowed the Canadiens to break up ice.
It may be the too many men call to let go, because you know what, you called it right, Gary, when you said you're not going to get a call like that here. But it was legit. If one of the two players who is changing intentionally plays the puck, it's a call. It wasn't called. Here came Benoit Brunet. Heads up play, but look at how the Canadiens spread the play out. Boards to boards just about. Brunet to Carbonneau. Glenn Healy got a piece of it. It was headed to the short side, and he had to look around and see it falling into the net.
The assist to number 22, Benoit.
This is only the third time the New York Islanders have lost a game ever in their history in overtime in the playoffs at home. And the first time since 1980, Montreal has now established a new record for overtime wins in the playoffs in a single season, as they are 7-1.
Did they or didn't they have too many men on the ice just before Guy Carbonneau's winning goal in overtime? Well, Al Arbour certainly had his thoughts on the whole affair after Thursday night's game.
Well, I think it's very apparent in the last couple of games here that there are two sets of rules. There's a rule regarding the Montreal Canadiens, and there's a rule regarding everybody else.
A day later, after thinking about it, Arbour watched his players going through their paces and decided to treat the whole affair in a casual and facetious way.
I made a statement last night, and that's done with, and we're just moving on. Coaches might have a touch of Alzheimer's disease. I don't recall exactly my words.
Jacques Demers met the press corps in Uniondale and said that he wasn't about to stir the pot.
You know what? There was too many men on the ice. But there was also, in the first period, too many men on the ice for the Islanders. And we were at the bench. We weren't in the play. But Al Arbour is a man I have too much respect for to judge. Whatever Al Arbour has to say, that's him. And I'm not going to judge Al Arbour.
C'est pas normal. Moi, je trouve que c'est un...
Savard sees the whole incident as a diversion. He says that Arbour is trying to regroup his players, but he finds that his comments are a strange way of going about it. The controversy aside, it's time to give credit where credit is due. Patrick Waugh has won 11 straight games. He has a .934 save percentage and a 1.92 goals against average. There's little question that he's the biggest reason why the Canadiens are on the verge of sweeping the Islanders. In fact, Jacques Demers calls Patrick Waugh Montreal's only bona fide superstar, with, of course, apologies to Kirk Muller. He says that the Islanders have a superstar in Pierre Turgeon, they have Patrick Waugh, and that his play has gone up accordingly during the playoffs.
You know, every goaltender looked great when he got a support from his teammates like I had right now. I got the big goals, defensemen are playing very well, and helps a lot.
In 1975, the Islanders were in a similar situation against the Pittsburgh Penguins, down 3 games, but they did come back, and Arbour is hoping that the magic is still there.
You know, this is not an impossible task. A lot of people say this is impossible. I don't see anything impossible about it. You go through the course of the season and you win 4 games, no big deal. Why should it be a big deal in the playoffs? Montreal's won 11. They can go and lose 4 now.
Michael Whalen, TSN in Uniondale, New York.
Arbour's words aside, the odds of a comeback were indeed long. Montreal seemed poised to sweep the Islanders, and in the process set a record with their 12th straight win in a row. But the Islanders had not been swept in a 7-game series in franchise history, and were not about to start now.
Here come the Islanders. There's a capacity crowd here tonight, and we'll let the crowd bring them on here for just a minute. Everybody on their feet at the Coliseum.
Darius Kasparaitis hitting the line, drops it off, then a home shot right on, and Patrick Waugh covers up. 3 minutes in to Game 4. Patrick with the goals against average in this series of 1.37.
Still no score, 9:23 into this one. Jacques Demers has been here before. This is the second time that he has been one victory away from coaching his team into the Stanley Cup final. He didn't make it the previous time, 1986.
Flatley side of the net, Ferraro in front. Great Ferraro, ball down. What a stop. Rebound, Flatley doesn't get through.
Ferraro does a good job. He waits, he
a glove up at the last minute to knock that one down.
Savard, nice pass, and it's broken up. Dion gets another chance. Gilbert Dion. Savard flipped it. Oh, what a stop by Healy, as Denny Savard was looking for his first goal of the Stanley Cup playoff. Score first period in Game 4 of the Wales Conference Championship Series. With 4:25 to go, here's David Bullock, shot right on. And Patrick Roy covers that. Here's Hogue. Benoit Hogue centers, Thomas shot. Patrick Roy to save it, another. And he'll cover up as Ferraro is flattened at the side of the net.
Stops he has made tonight. 2 more right there.
And you can see even he's shaking his head to save 3 bounces here. 1 tip, 2 tips, and then to Patrick Roy. Jeff Norton has the rebound, and Roy is so quick getting across.
Desjardins skating out to center ice for Montreal. Clears it in. There's Keane, first man to it. And DiPietro going to the net. John Cruz looks for a loose puck. Shot. DiPietro scores! Paul DiPietro with his first goal on the road in these playoffs. And the Canadiens lead 1-0. Here's Thomas on the left wing. His shot blocked. Going in deep. Thomas behind the goal. Coming out in front. The shot scores! Short side. Steve Thomas. Now Flatley sending away Ferraro. Here's Ray Ferraro taking a look back in front. They score! Caught Flatley.
There's the turnover just inside the blue line as DiPietro tried to shoot it in. The rush up ice, the pass by Ferraro, the redirection by Flatley. New York leads halfway through this third period. Montreal has to do something right now they have not done, obviously, in the games here. Score some goals. 2 with an overtime game in Game 3, and just 1 here tonight. Almost 10 minutes into the third period.
Fitzgerald hit the line. Tom Fitzgerald takes a look. Cross ice. Uwe Krupp moving in. Here's Krupp backhand. Patrick Roy rebound. They score. David Bullock.
It feels a little different about young Mr. Bullock right now after some recent events.
Here's a giveaway. Muller in and a high shot handled by Healy.
Check out how it happened here. It's a stick up by Lyle Odeline.
Odeline stick caught Ferraro across the side of the head. As you can see, there's not much contact until after Odeline spins around. And right there, you can see the stick right in the back of the head.
With 2 minutes and 49 seconds left, the Islanders have a 2-goal lead on the Canadiens, whose scoring has dried up.
Tom Fitzgerald working in. Brisebois the save. Kasparaitis. Backhand, and that's kept out. Here's Benoit Hogue. Empty net. Scores! The streak's over, and the Islanders are still alive.
Obviously, they don't want to quit, and they got a lot of pride over there, and they want to keep going. And they played that way tonight. You gotta give them credit. They outplayed us. Just in the little things, and it seemed like they're just a little more desperate than we were tonight.
We talked to yesterday and today not to be complacent, not to be happy with the streak, and I think. Contrary, we went on the ice and thought that not that's going to be easy, but that just by showing up we're going to be okay. You have to give them credit too. They really worked hard. They had their back to the walls and they played well. But on our side, we just didn't think and got outworked and outmuscled in the corners.
The little things, they have a saying: take care of the little things, the big things will take care of itself. But I think overall it was a great team effort, and we had a meeting yesterday and said if we try to go individually here, we have no prayer against this team. We have to all stick together and play well collectively, and everybody does his job, and we need guys to come through for us.
We crashed the net tonight, and that was our main focus, is to get the puck on the wall and move it right to the net. And I think if you see the goals we had, Pat Flatley's goal, Dave Volek's goal, there was somebody crashing the net all the time, and I think that's the way to get to Patrick Roy. I think we felt a little relaxed and we were more prepared. Back against the wall, we've done it against Pittsburgh, and the guys say it can't happen right now. We got to keep going, take shift by shift, and play hard. And I think we control most of the game, and our D jump up offensively and creates opening in the slot, and we finally put it past Patrick Roy. Absolutely, we want to win this series in a big way, and there isn't one guy in this dressing room that doesn't think we can. We got a bunch of guys who are focused, with a bunch of guys with big hearts, and it's fun to see.
Now, crashing the net, was that part of the game plan tonight? Obviously, that's how the goals all seem to occur.
Well, absolutely. That was one of our main concerns, is getting to the net and getting shots on net, going for rebounds, and trying to cause some havoc in front for Patrick.
The Islanders' 3-goal outburst in the third period ended any chance of the New Yorkers losing in overtime for a third straight game. The Isles staved off elimination, but we're now heading back to the historic Montreal Forum, needing a victory.
The Islanders stayed alive Saturday night in Uniondale by playing a solid hockey game and in the process putting an end to the Canadiens' winning streak at 11, a record that is shared by both the Chicago Blackhawks and the Pittsburgh Penguins. In a way, said the Canadiens, the demise of the streak is a blessing in disguise.
I think so. There would have been a lot of pressure going into the finals with it, but right now we just have to regroup. We're still in control of the series, and there's no way we want to go back to the island.
The only time I talked about the streak was yesterday or the day before, and the meeting said, hey boys, you know, we haven't won a thing yet. The Blackhawks won 11 straight last year. Everybody saw Michael Jordan and Blackhawks double parade in Chicago, and they lost 4 straight, so we haven't won a thing yet. One big reason that the Islanders were so effective in Game 4 of this series is that defenseman Uwe Krupp was an imposing presence in the game. The 6'6" native of Cologne, West Germany, was freewheeling it in the offensive zone, and he made things happen. It was undoubtedly his best game ever in 40 playoff appearances.
I think it was the most rewarding. You play good games sometimes, but things just don't work out at the end. As good as you wanted to. But last game we won. I was able to put a good game on, and so it was a good game for me.
He's like a big, quiet man out there. He's very effective in our own zone, and like last night you saw him, he can be very good offensively also. He carried the puck very well. He does seem to do everything real well in a very quiet fashion.
He's awesome. I never realized how good he was. He's very, very good. I mean, he's a dominating defenseman, and you can't take him out of the way. He's so big. He's not overly physical. I'm talking about not cheap shots. He never gives you a cheap shot. He plays a real clean game. He dominates both offense and defense. He's been a very strong player for them.
The Bears also singled out Darius Kasparaitis for his play in Game 4. In fact, he says stopping those 2 defensemen will be the key strategy for his club as they approach Game 5. Michael Whalen, TSN in Montreal.
Right back to him off Keane. Krupp again, right into Carbonneau. Krupp again. Krupp takes it down low. Thomas comes back to the point. There's Thomas. He's out of position now. Fakes like Carbonneau hasn't got a stick. Back to Thomas. Carbonneau's in front of him without a stick. So he takes it. Carbonneau says okay and blocks it with his right leg.
Wow, terrific play by Guy Carbonneau, but that shows you how bad the Islanders' power play is. When you can't take advantage of a guy without a stick, if anything, the Islanders needed 2 guys on either. He was down low, waiting, and at one point when the play moved in low, he was open to get it, but they never did get the puck to him. I think the Islanders have to concentrate on getting the puck to their down low quarterback. That is Pierre Turgeon. Didn't happen at all in this power play. Not once.
It really hurts them right now because it's so frustrating. It looks so bad. Patrick Waugh. Just what you said. They got it down low and ended up with a rebound chance.
Well, if they can get it through, sure. And when the play happens very quickly, when you stand at the point looking, you give the penalty killer a chance to line up perfectly between you and the goal. And that is always the penalty killer's goal. Here, Kasparaitis, when he got it, moved quickly to the left. That was smart. He took 2 quick strides to the left, and he was able to get the shot through. That's all the Islanders want to do.
Lots of Islanders down there once they got it there.
See the traffic in front with Ferraro on one side and Flatley on the other. And you don't need that giant windup to get it through. Precision is a far greater asset when you're winding up with the puck.
Great save, Waugh, on Ray Ferraro. Ray Ferraro had gotten open just as the penalty ended, and Waugh made the blocker save to protect the 1-0 lead for Montreal.
Sure, they stay in front to block and to jam and to get in Patrick Waugh's way. Patrick has told his young defenseman in the power plays, though, listen, I'd rather look through 1 guy than 2. Obviously, his young guys aren't listening to him because even a couple of Canadians had tied up Pat Flatley before they let him go. But now that that traffic is set up in front, what's next for the Islanders? Get the puck there. Have to get it there.
2 goals, 7 assists. Rebound. Pushed it up along the boards to Hill. Turgeon got a piece of it. Couldn't stop it, though. Behind the net, Damphousse. DiPietro. Bellows both in front. Norton and Bellows going at it behind the play. Brought up by David Bollock. Bollock brings it in. Bollock's out there with Turgeon. McGinnis in the middle. Couldn't get it to him. Again, the Canadiens back. Damphousse on the back check. Knocked it away. Tom Kerber's with it. Canadiens changing it up near side. McGinnis couldn't get it. J.J. Daniel out. Rich Pilon holds it in. Pilon dumped it in the corner. Turgeon trying to drop it off. Blocked back to Pilon. Pilon, he'll take it. Blocked again by Dion. The Canadiens, first period, are they blocking shots? Mike Keane back for them. Keane over to Muller. Muller with Kasparaitis. The 2-11s collide. King moves in. Muller centered in front. Shot. Keane scores! What a setup by Kirk Muller!
Well, the jump is back because Kirk Muller's line took the ice. Terrific work in the corner. Darius Kasparaitis went down, appeared to be hurt in the play, but the Canadiens ended up with a 2-on-1 in front. The Islanders were beaten in the corner with 2 of them there. That's where their problems started. Derek King and Darius Kasparaitis had Kirk Muller to deal with. If Muller beats those 2 guys, then the 2-on-1 becomes a Montreal advantage in front. And John Leclerc tying up Rich Pilon sprung Mike Keane loose for a 2-0 lead.
Ray Ferraro hit the post on the turnover at the blue line by the Canadiens. Best chance they have had in the game as Waugh was out of the net, not expecting the turnover shot. Kirk Muller back out on the ice, kicks it away to Bellows. Muller got dumped. Bellows brings it in. Bellows taken down. Penalty coming up on Tom Kervers. Healy trying to cover it up. He can't. Benoit just trying to get it out of the zone. Does. And Healy down in the crease. The Canadiens couldn't get that third chance on it. Damphousse moves it up. Canadiens 1 for 21 against the Islanders on the power play. Their first chance of this game. Matthew Schneider, Benoit Hogue right there. Holding call on Kervers came at 18:50. We're down to the final 30 seconds of this first period. That's the time remaining in the period you're looking at here. Much more than that on the power play opportunity. Damphousse in. Knocked away by Flatley. Damphousse has it underneath him. Bellows able to hold it in. Good play. Uwe Krupp moves over. Krupp backs it up. Krupp trying to get the big clear. Can't. Schneider blocked it. Matthew Schneider blocked by Brian Mullen. Mullen, one clear, and that'll do it here. But the Canadiens are going to start the second period with a power play as they'll have 50 seconds left on it. And more importantly, a 2-0 lead.
But the Islanders really wanted the lead in this hockey game.
Rick Green helped a 4-1 lead over Calgary for Montreal. Patrick Roy held off a furious rush from the Flames at the finish. He was the MVP, and Bob Gainey raising the Canadiens' 22nd and last Stanley Cup. 13 years ago, Bobby Nystrom tipping in John Tonelli's feed past Pete Peters in overtime. Islanders win 5-4 for their first of 4 straight Stanley Cups.
Wayne Gretzky is called the Great One, and there are plenty of facts to back that up, including his unprecedented 9 Hart trophies as league MVP. But perhaps Gretzky's greatest moment came in 1982 when he broke Phil Esposito's season record for goals scored. His 77th goal broke the record, and he finished the year with an amazing 92 goals. For Wayne Gretzky, it was truly a magic moment.
LA, Toronto with a chance to wrap this things up. However, it won't look that way because this one is now tied at 2 games apiece. Barry Melrose and Pat Burns both look on for pivotal game 4. And Doug Gilmour, he'd been off his game a little bit the last couple of games. He comes from behind the net, though. Rudy with the save. Bob Rouse knocks it in, 1-0 Leafs. Mike Eastwood's pass deflects off Alexei Zhitnik's skate. Past Rudy between his legs through the 5-hole, whatever you want to say. 2-0 Leafs. Felix Potvin the save on Millen. Then Donnelly to preserve the lead. Rob Blake shot, and Gretzky is there to back end in the rebound, 2-1. Mike Krushelnyski then works the puck off the boards to Mike Foligno. He tips it past Rudy, 3-1. And then Mike Eastwood on the breakaway, stopped by Rudy, but Pearson on the rebound Mike Foligno says this was the game to win.
Well, it's very important for us to have this type of a game that we did tonight. I think that it's something we've talked about at great length, and we weren't very happy with our game the last couple of games. We knew the importance of Game 4. We've talked about it before. Burnsy has mentioned to us before that the team that wins a Game 4 usually goes on to win the series.
Ah, a little prophetic there from Mike Foligno. However,
the Maple Leafs, one guy back, that's Zhitnik, and he's not going to make the save. He actually deflected it in off his skate. And now you'll see McSorley, defenseman, coming in. He doesn't shoot. He tries to deke. Not bad. There's Zhitnik, number 2, coming in, circled. 2 defensemen caught, and you've got a 2-on-0 breakaway right here. And Sandstrom is doing everything he can do, and we just saw this goal. You'll see the 3rd Maple Leaf put it in the net. So it's great for your defenseman.
The shot that beat Patrick Waugh, but oh, the goaltender's best friend, the post, there to kick it to the left.
Danfus, Muller, Desjardins on the power play. Muller down low in the slot. Brisebois all alone along the point. Sends it in. Tipped wide by Muller. Healy got a piece of that as Muller did get the tip. Penalty is over. So the Islanders avoid damage there. Benoit Hogue brings it in. Hogue backhands it in for Thomas. Intercepted Desjardins. That's the second time in this game where we've seen DiPietro offside. That is not a goal. That is an offside, and Thomas didn't like it and elbowed DiPietro.
And Healy didn't like it before Thomas didn't like it. He looked like he took a swing at DiPietro with his stick as DiPietro deked him. And the Islanders have had their fill of Paul DiPietro. He's only 5'9", but he has played like he is 6'2" in this series, not only offensively, but physically. Small forward for the Canadiens that plays big, 5'9", 181 pounds. 4th-round pick that the Canadiens have brought along well. He scored more goals in the playoffs than he did in the regular season. Here comes the pass. It was close, but it was offside. The whistle went right here, and after he shoots, watch Healy. See Healy with the jab.
Sometimes you ought to let sleeping dogs lie. If DiPietro realized he was offsides, he may wish he hadn't done that. That has really ticked off the Islanders here. That's just a no-no.
No question. With a 2-goal lead, sometimes cockiness goes a little too far. And I think Paul DiPietro was just being a little cocky on that play.
Thomas turning. Hope checked away by Savard. Controlled by Uwe Krupp. Savard out there with E. Carbonneau on this line and Benoit Brunet. Patrick Waugh cleared it around. Turgeon standing there. Brunet came up from behind him over to King. King back to the circle. Takes the shot blocked. Came right back to him, but Schneider got it out to Savard. Savard coming with Brunet.
With a good backhand shot that Healy was able to get. Glenn Healy's not as aggressive against the Canadiens as I thought he would be. Gary's had a terrific series, but he's really held his ground back in, and he's expecting a lot of traffic. I think that's one of the reasons.
Down post. 3-0 Canadiens.
Well, you've got to know that these guys in blue cannot afford any mistakes, especially because this is their 4th elimination game out of the last 7, and especially because they are down 2-0. Now they are down 3-0 because of a mistake. Misread that allowed Stéphane Lebeau to jump in. Pat Flatley, because of the quick turnover, lost his man, Vincent Danfus, and Danfus really made a good shot. Good execution. Low to the stick side. He had time to look up, but a terrific pass from Stéphane Lebeau. And by this series standards, the Canadiens now have what you have to call a stranglehold on the New York Islanders.
The Islanders, even though we're just 2 minutes into the second period, have really got to go after it now. In front, Ferraro a chance. Waugh the save. Rebound. Waugh the save on Flatley. Puck loose, not long enough. Waugh reaches out and pulls it in.
That was the chance for the Islanders to get right back into it. But that is also the trademark of a terrific goaltender. Somebody who can hold his guys in when the wave turns against you and comes the other way. Ray Ferraro had time, not only on the backhand, watch it, turnover by Lyle Online. Good play by Benoit Hogue. Instead of taking the backhand shot, Ferraro even had time to turn, and then Flatley with his backhand shot. Look at Patrick Waugh. Look where Ferraro was going. He was trying for a 5-hole. There was no room at all between Patrick Waugh's legs. Great recovery by Patrick Waugh to take away the low portion of the net. He wasn't going to get to his feet, but he at least took away low.
Leading them in the playoffs. Shot in on Waugh. Rebound loose again, side of the net, and Waugh finds it. Bollock, Delgarno, and Turgeon all there.
You lose the face-off and you're in. You're generally going to give up a scoring opportunity. Look at Mike Keane. He got most of this. Jeff Norton let Keane go down and then tried to shoot it over him, but it creased the pants and rear end of Mike Keane and kind of turned into a knuckleball. If Jeff Norton had an option to step wide on this one or to shoot, he just opted to shoot over Mike Keane.
Delgarno, center, Turgeon can't get it. Puck still free. Turgeon, Bollock trying to tip it in. It never got in on goal. John Leclair. Leclair up for Keane. The Canadiens battling in front of their goaltender. Keeping that comes back to Tom Kervers. Kervers' shot is blocked out deep by Guy Carbonneau. Turnaround Mullen missed the net on the short side. Dennis Savard cleared it up, not out. Baskey, his shot, glove down in front. Brunet. Brunet tied up by McGinnis. McGinnis kicked it away. McGinnis trying to set it up. Brisebois all over him. Mullen all over him. Mullen tipped it away, held in. Fitzgerald, centering pass, couldn't get it there and got knocked down. Fitzgerald holds it in. Islanders now just doing everything imaginable to get some chances, and they're getting them. Fitzgerald tried to drop it in front, blocked by Desjardins. Dion was moving in on him, avoided most of the check. Lehman out on the ice. We don't see much of Lehman in this game. Ahead for DiPietro, intended for Lehman. Kasparaitis stepped in, and after that pass, we may not see him again. Patrick Waugh behind the net. Lyle Oberlin. Turgeon got there first. Back to a Krug shot. That was wide. Rebounds all the way down the other end. Jeff Norton back after. Lead up. Thomas had a chance. A penalty coming up. Delayed call here. Koharski the whistle. A roughing call.
Steve Thomas is going to pick it up, too, and he was held by Matt Schneider, dead center of the screen. Driving to the net, Schneider pulls him to the side, and then boom, straight left, full contact to the jaw.
The power play, Tommy Covers, King, Turgeon on the power play with Thomas. Thomas dropped it for King. King getting no shots out of any of this, though. And the penalty is over. Even strength, so they do not convert. Turgeon, top of the circle, sends it in. Tip King and Thomas, but it was wide. Guy Carbonneau trying to get it by Turgeon. Can't. Hope checked away near side by Desjardins. Brisebois trying to pin it up against the boards. In comes King flying in. Brisebois, Carbonneau. They do battle. Norton moves in to get Bellows out of there. Puck freed up to Brisebois. He gets dumped behind the play by Thomas. No call. Comes up to Brunet. Brunet with Desjardins and Bellows. Right through the crease. Rebounded save by Waugh. DiPietro back to get it. Krug moving up, trying to hold it in. Can't for the moment. Big hit put on Fitzgerald, but Daniel stood right early. And some help from Rich Palon to clear it out. 8:45. The defenseman got in front. Brian Mullen was there to knock it away. Desjardins held up by Healy. Krug back. Krug around the boards. Off the dasher, melt the center. Sean Hill working on the power play. 59 seconds remaining on the advantage for Montreal. Hill had it blocked, got it back. Flatley had it for a moment, but not long enough to control. Healy again around the dasher. Hill, the shot. Healy knocks it away. Gilbert Dion. Dion out there now with Keane. There's Dion. Dion's shot. Healy the save. Knuckleball. Rebound. Keane. Save by Healy. Cleared up and by Hill. Matthew Snyder. Brian Mullen takes a whack at it. Couldn't get it. 28 left on the power play. Sent in by Flatley. Waugh again up for Keane. Drops it back to Hill. Hill moving in on the power play chance. 18 seconds left on it. Behind the net, Rich Pilon. Pilon with Keane moving in. Got it away to Fitzgerald. Islanders shorthanded on the rush. Fitzgerald off for Hogue. Benoit Hogue. Hogue off LeBeau. Chased down Dion and Baskey. Dion taken down by Baskey. Pilon again rushing in. We have seen the Islanders tonight. There was another one from that chance up ice. Just passing up shots. They're not shooting. I mean, short-handed, Hogue comes into the zone. He was open. I mean, it's a shot from out deep of the blue line, but what do you got to lose at this point?
Well, it's amazing what happens.
Another save by Waugh! Team's back at even strength, and Patrick Waugh putting on a show. Savard, Carbonneau! Saved by Healy! And Healy covers the puck. Canadiens leading the Islanders 3-0, trying to move on to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Perfect position for Patrick Waugh, and as is the case very often, the Canadiens were right down to the other end for their good scoring chance by Guy Carbonneau.
Glenn Healy. Healy's made a couple of tough saves. Waugh gloves that one. Easy flip shot in by Delgarno.
Right, but Denny Savard just basically deflected over to Guy Carbonneau. You know what Carbonneau did when he missed this? He stood there for about 2 seconds. He slammed his stick in the ice, and he skated over to the bench by himself, animatedly talking the whole time to nobody but himself. He went and tapped the boards in front of about 4 guys to say, I owe you one, or let's keep it going. And that's one of the reasons that
And Healy will cover that one up. 5:43 left to go here in the second. Well, there, Delgarno comes away with the puck. Held in Matthew Snyder. Keane, nice play. Muller looking for Leclerc, but he couldn't tip it. Delgarno got a piece. Keane, Kasparaitis. Montreal putting the heat. Leclerc, shot, saved by Healy. He was left alone at the top of the crease. John Leclerc knocked down.
Well, the Islanders had the right man trying to tie him up. Brad Delgarno is big enough to hold John Leclerc, but he didn't have position on him. When you're behind the guy. Nothing but blank stares for a very good reason. Finally, Brian Mullen starts to try to pump his guys up, but the Montreal Canadiens now with a 4-goal lead. J.J. Daniel with a nice shot off the post low that Glenn Healy didn't have a chance on. And you know, Gary, during the regular season, the Montreal defensemen scored 60 goals in 84 games. Coming into tonight's game, they'd only scored 3 goals in 14 playoff games. Oh, here's another chance. Yes!
It is out of control as the Canadiens have a 5-0 lead. Ryan Bellows.
Another mistake by the New York Islanders. And Brian Bellows has made them pay for it dearly. Dom Foose with the pressure between Norton and Uwe Krupp. Krupp lost the puck, and Brian Bellows just walked into that one. This is the 4th goal of the hockey game. A reverse angle look at J.J. Daniel's goal on the pass from Brian Bellows. Where are the Islanders? Nobody moved to him. Missed assignments, poor reads, and the Montreal Canadiens taking advantage of it. Brian Bellows has made it 5-0 Montreal.
Back-to-back goals right off the face-off, and the full house here at the Forum. The Canadiens that much closer to the shot. Save! Thomas, save! Turgeon kicked it wide. King trying to center. Block. Thomas scores! Well, they get one back. Steve Thomas makes it a 5-1 game.
Exactly what they did after they scored the 3rd goal. Right back down on Patrick Waugh, but the Canadiens really let up. It was almost as if they assumed that the Islanders would just dribble up and die. Look at 4 Montreal Canadiens, and finally they all start looking around for their coverage. Boys, it's not over.
Why would they play New York, New York at this point? It's the strangest thing that's happened in the playoffs. Thomas scores a goal, and they started playing New York, New York. This thing is going to open up now to one big shooting gallery. Fitzgerald sends it into the corner. Sean Hill goes back to get it. Hill out of the University of Wisconsin in the U.S. Olympic team. Tipped ahead Leclerc. Krupp, he's got a step, got tripped. Down they go. No call here. And is loose. 2:40 left to go. Muller, Turgeon, Muller able to dig it out. Back in the corner, Tommy Curvers. Curvers around near side. Weiss intercepted by Hill. Baskey back in his own end. Baskey dumps it by Keane to center. Garno's not going to be able to play that one. Ends up in the box. Lyle Odeline had him. Ferraro in. Ferraro, big chance. Wow, the save again. Patrick Roy coming up huge yet one more time. Pilon shot deflected by Guy Carbonneau. Carbonneau will break with Don Flus, and Bellows sends it in. Ryan Bellows has added his 39th career playoff goal with the one he's picked up here in this period. Tipped away to Brisebois at center. Both teams changing it up on the fly with a minute 24 left to go in the second. Ahead for Thomas. Don Flus took him out of the play. Desjardins with the puck. Eric Desjardins in. DiPietro in front of him. Desjardins turned Kasparaitis. Centering pass off King's skate. Played by DiPietro. DiPietro hit by King. Kasparaitis the loose puck. Out of the zone. Back Thomas. 22 left to go. Islanders chance. King missed it. Partially blocked by J.J. Daniel. Daniel in the corner. Turgeon freed it up momentarily. Uwe Krupp held it in. Taken by Daniel again. Daniel looking up ice. Leclerc from Keane. Leclerc still has time. Back for Keane. Keane gives up the shot. Came out of the zone, but it won't matter here. That's going to do it after two, and it's a Canadien second period down on the ice. That was away from the play. Desjardins, not sure if he took a stick or a puck. Went down in the slot after the play had turned up ice. I did not see what happened to him.
I'm sure Jacques Demers did either. Right at the top is Eric Desjardins. Looks like he's trying to hook Pat Flatley back, and boy, that looked like a punch to the chest. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, there's Jacques Demers making the sign that that's what it was.
Gary, I didn't even think that he hit him up in the jaw. He may have, but it almost looked like he caught him in the chest. If it was high enough, he might have caught him in the neck. Let's see it. Right in the CH.
Right in the solar plexus. He had the
probably,
wind knocked right out of it.
It was probably low.
Went in, Muller. Shot. Pilon blocked it. Glenn Healy had the puck right where you'd put your wallet. It never crossed the line. It was sitting right on the red. Chased down by Hogue. He fanned on it. Power play still underway here. Cleared out by Baskey. Canadiens that close to putting their sixth goal on the board. Healy had no idea where the puck was, but he knew it hadn't gone in, so he just didn't move, hoping it was underneath him. Matthew Snyder drops it for Hill. John Hill in. Healy taking a look to see who's there. Krupp back to the point. Hill's got it. Hill takes the shot. Tipped wide. Down in front, Leclerc. Schneider's shot blocked out deep by Mullen. Played by Krupp. Krupp had it taken away. Dion. Gilbert Dion. He and Krupp go at it in the corner. Leclerc moves over. Leclerc back to the point. Matthew Schneider. 3 on the power play. His shot tipped. Healy to save on Dion and Leclerc. Leclerc gets it. Penalties over. And we're back to even strength. But again, the Canadiens putting the heat on. Dion's pass. Bollock just out of the box went behind him. Patrice Brisebois sends it in. So Montreal not converting. They're 0 for tip that. Hogue took the shot. Fitzgerald was cutting through. We'll have to wait for a call, but it is a 5-2 game.
They're keeping at it, working away at it. The Canadiens really guilty again, Gary, of some lax coverage in their end. Sometimes a lead is a little too big, and a team will go into a lot.
The Islanders don't have to think a whole lot about what to do here in this period. I mean, it's now everybody in. You take the chances. You get as many shots as you can, and you keep banging away. See whether or not they can get.
And you hope that Glenn Healy holds.
Yep.
Because you're going to end up with some chances against him and some real good ones.
He's got to hold the fort. Fitzgerald off for Brian Mullen. Mullen back for Fitzgerald. Hit the side of the net. Played behind the net by Desjardins. Eric Desjardins. Rifles that one in. Norton over. Donfus had a piece of him. Donfus tipped it away to Bellows. Bellows with Muller in front. To Muller. Off a skate. Turgeon's got it. Turgeon coming with Mullen. Turgeon moves. Islanders changing. Waiting for some help. Pilon joins the play. Pilon back Kasparaitis. The two defensemen go down low. There was nobody back that time. Kasparaitis still down there. Leclaire, and a penalty coming up on John Leclaire. And the Islanders down by 3 with 14:51 left will get a power play.
And who is...
These are huge saves right now for Patrick Roy. They had the chance. Patrick Flatley was alone, and Patrick Roy came up big again. Keane puts the hit on Kerbers. Mike Keane hauled down by Kerbers. Puck comes to David Volek. Volek leading the rush. 3-on-2 for the moment. Now 3-on-3. Ray Ferraro trying to get a screen. Freeze block. Great positioning. Back in front. Baskey was cutting, but the puck went behind him. Mike Keane brings it out. Keane moves in. Backs it up. Ferraro bounced over his stick. He was the trailer. Guy Carbonneau to the blue line. Benoit Brunet cutting. So Savard. Nice read by Coop. Taken away by Savard. Savard centering. Tip pass. Brunet tried to get it to Guy Carbonneau. Norton puts the hit on Brunet. Ferraro trying to dig it out. Savard wanted a wraparound. Healy knocked it away. Savard got it back. Sends it in on Healy. It's loose in the crease. Still loose. A whistle blows. Koharski lost sight of it. Kasparaitis. Kasparaitis. Islanders just can't seem to get in the position they want to take the shot. Puck's underneath the skates. Dion kicks it away to DiPietro. Norton right back in the troop skates. DiPietro moves in again. Comes free. DiPietro's got it. DiPietro trying to back it up. Gets pinned up by Norton. And Norton finally comes away with a puck. David Volek. Now the clock, of course, working against the New York Islanders here. The Leafs tick. And their need for 3 goals to get this thing tied. Turgeon. Tied up by Guy Carbonneau from behind again. Flatley. LeBeau. Stephane LeBeau right through the crease. It's sitting there. Nobody can get a handle in on Healy, and he covers it up. He had John Leclaire in there. Leclaire and Thomas. Thomas puts him in a headlock. Reached out and knocked it away. Empty net. Ho can't get the shot off. Sent back to Ferraro. Ferraro tried to run it in front. Flatley was there, but never got the shot off. Flatley, his centering pass intercepted by DiPietro, knocked down by Hove.
But Patrick Roy, nothing short of sensational. Ray Ferraro looked and looked and looked for something to shoot at, any kind of net. And Patrick Roy, when he has to be, gets aggressive. He moved out.
Picking up his stick. Puck came back to him, and he's looking for someone right now. There's Krug.
It certainly looked like an accident, like a stick got kind of leveraged in between a couple of guys and just swung up and hit him. But still, I'm surprised Don Koharski didn't go the play down, but I guess his instincts were pretty good. Uwe Krug is making it to the bench under his own power.
He held up in the corner, and there was no whistle.
You can see Krug going behind the net, and there, see the stick actually, it hit him just about when Glenn Healy was going to hit Denny Savard.
.24 left to go, and Montreal will be in the Stanley Cup Finals. Dumped into the zone, back to get it, J.J. Daigneault. Daigneault off the boards for Leclaire. Leclaire turning it out for Kurt Muller. Muller. Healy back to play it, leaves it for Kasparaitis. Takes a bounce to the middle where Muller is there. Again, it's knocked it away. Muller able to control and just flips it back into the zone. Patrick Roy going for his 63rd playoff win in net. And the fans with that familiar chant. Here at home. Delgarno shot, Roy the save. Tipped away. David Volek behind the net. You'll hear the roar in 1 second. 1 minute. For the 32nd time in their great history, the Montreal Canadiens are going to the Stanley Cup Finals. They have defeated a valiant New York Islander team 5-2.
So much to be proud of. His young team had a terrific hockey season and really came into its own down the stretch and into the playoffs, and the Islanders' future is bright. Darius Kasparaitis and Scott Lachance, 20 years old. Pierre Turgeon, 23. Malakoff and Vasky, 24. Richie Pilon's 25. Krug and Norton, 27, and they are big. They are young and big, and the Islanders will be heard from again, but not this season.
The great tradition in hockey, and the series concludes, the handshakes. Patrick Roy, 12-3 in net. The same record for the Montreal Canadiens. Glenn Healy, 18 consecutive starts in net for the Islanders.
I am so happy that we were able to bring North America a little closer to Glenn Healy. He's never gotten any recognition as a goaltender in the National Hockey League. He is not only a character in a humorous kind of way, but he has a ton of character deep inside of him. He's had a terrific season for Al Arbour, and he's a free agent now without compensation. I sure hope he lands on his feet, and he deserves a nice big fat contract from somebody after all these years of slugging it out.
Doc Demers taking over for Pat Burns, of course. Two great coaches. Able to take this team, move it in the direction they needed to move in by playing the great defense, even though they were young. As we've mentioned so often, here in Montreal, you're expected to be in the Stanley Cup Finals. Anything short of that doesn't work. Well, they are. They have won this series 4-1. There is the Prince of Wales trophy, and it was indeed the Prince of Wales who donated that trophy to the National Hockey League in 1924. A 5-2 victory. New York Islanders have now left the ice after having gone through the line, and the presentation of the Prince of Wales trophy will be made on the ice. There's Kurt Muller, scored 58 seconds into this game. Ended up with a goal and an assist, but set the pace for this game, I thought, in the first period.
Leaders have to set the tone when it's on the line. And needless to say, the Canadiens were not facing an elimination game, but Kurt Muller definitely set the tone here.
All right, there's more to come from the forum. 5-2, the final. And John LeClair, young man we have talked about before, had a great series for the Montreal Canadiens. John, congratulations, a great moment for you.
Yeah, it sure is. This is something I've never experienced, and it's just as terrific as all the veterans said it was.
Hey, John, you guys really came out charging. You obviously wanted to set a real big tone early here.
Yeah, exactly. We don't think that we set the pace in Game 4, and we wanted to come out and make sure that we set the tempo, and we had a lot of enthusiasm throughout the whole game.
Guy Carbonneau will receive the Prince of Wales trophy, the captain of the Montreal Canadiens. Season with the Canadiens for Carbonneau, a Selke winner 3 times. Denny Savard, of course, coming over. Both of them have had to play more limited roles this year than they are used to in their careers. They accepted that under Jacques Demers. He handled that delicately. they were still made a part of the team, contributed, but did so in a way differently from the past.
Gary, you don't get this far without role players. Old players can become role players. Young players very often are role players who contribute in different situations. Take even Sean Hill's situation. He'd only played one game in the playoffs. He was in uniform for this game. Everybody has a contribution, and now they get to skate with the hardware. It's the small hardware. But when you get to skate with this trophy, the Prince of Wales trophy, it means one thing. You are only 4 wins away from the big guy.
Sports time. We got Rock Road here with the Islanders. Hold your head high. That's right. No reason to put it down because they were brave. The Islanders tried to beat the odds again tonight, but this time, no way. The Canadiens iced their trip to the Stanley Cup playoffs on the home ice. Just 58 seconds into the game, former Devil Kirk Muller gave Montreal a quick lead as he beats Glenn Healy with a backhander to make it 1-0. Then we move to the second period with a 2-zip checkout. The pretty pass from Lebeau to Danfus. Just like that, it was 3-0 Canadiens. Later in the period, Montreal put it on ice with 2 goals in just 6 seconds. The last from Brian Bellows made it 5-0. 5-2 the final. The Isles comeback effort falls well short, but what an effort nonetheless this playoff season.
93-94 season is going to be a lot of fun, and we have a musical piece put together as tribute to the boys who made 1993's playoff run through Washington and Pittsburgh. An awful lot of fun. Enjoy it with us.
This has been a presentation of Sports Channel, a tradition of excellence.
The proceeding has been a special presentation of Icenet, the Islanders Championship Entertainment Network.